Part 71. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 701. At the end of the game, Zhao Hailong and Zhao Jingjing took Liangfen and the others to eat seafood at the second cup of Longxiang Bridge. Ge Donghai and Ge Ling also went, as did Zhao Zhigang, Kaidi, Wu Ziyawai, and Lao Wan. Zhang Chen and Xiao Zhao were also going and were about to leave when Old Tang came. After a while, Lu Ligan came with the reporter Su Wenhui. Old Tang still wanted to eat grilled lamb chops. In this way, Zhang Chen they couldn't go and could only let Zhao Hailong and Zhao Jingjing lead the team. Zhang Chen and Zhao Jingjing told Liangfen, Laoj, and the others that they have worked hard during this period. Just let them know what they want to eat. Anyway, we will have a National Day holiday tomorrow and everyone will not go to work. Zhao Jingjing said, yes, Mr. Zhang, don't worry, eat. Who can't do it? I don't need you to explain anything in particular. I brought enough money, so you just have to wait for the signature. Zhang Chen laughed and said okay. Everyone on the basketball team went, except accountant Li who escaped home. Zhao Jingjing said that if he didn't escape, he would have to make a living tonight. After that, he added, don't think you can escape. You will still be able to work when you come back to work after the holiday. Eat life. Zhang Chen didn't know what kind of life accountant Li would have, but it would definitely be difficult for such a thin man to be surrounded by a bunch of middle-aged women. Zhang Chen thought about it and laughed again. When Hongmei saw Old Tang coming, she made sure to ride his motorcycle. In the end, she took Old Tang, and Lu Ligan drove her car, taking Zhang Chen, Xiao Zhao, Zhang Xiangbei, and Su Wenhui in the same car. Or go to the Northwest restaurant in Wangjiangmen. When they arrived, Old Tang and Hongmei had already taken their seats and even ordered the lamb chops. When Old Tang saw them coming, he mysteriously told them that there was something good today. Lu Ligan asked what it was, but Old Tang didn't say anything. Hongmei shouted, this lunatic has taken all the dozens of sheep kidneys and roasted them. When the beer was served, the lamb chops were not served, but the lamb kidneys were served first. The four men all said they enjoyed it. Xiao Zhao thought the smell was too strong and did not dare to touch it. Old Tang took one and put it in front of Hongmei, talking to her. He said, it's really good food. We take it to strengthen yang, and you take it to nourish yin. Hongmei frowned and bit into a little bit. She felt that the taste was weird, but it wasn't that bad, so she ate it. Old Tang said proudly, how about it? You don't think it's too much now, do you? Hongmei nodded and said, very good, very good. I will strengthen yang and you will nourish yin. A table full of people laughed. Naturally, we started talking about tonight's game, and they all thought it was so enjoyable. Old Tang said, I didn't expect you to be so helpful to me, and so energetic after you got on the court. Even I, who never watch basketball, found it enjoyable, especially that 2 points, one person, made the two young men as tired as dogs. Zhang Chen told them 2 stories. Except for the broken elastic band, everyone else said, no wonder, it turned out that he once dominated Hangzhou. Lu Li picked up the cup and said to Zhang Chen, now I think your decision is right. It is worth retaining such a place. Others didn't know what he was talking about, so Lu Ligan told them his idea of the sports goods market. Old Tang said that this is very good, and if it is started, it will definitely make money. He doesn't want to make this money. He wants to keep the stadium for people to have activities, and keep the gardens and metasequoia forests for people to fall in love. Lu Lipol pointed at Zhang Chen and said. Xiao Zhao glanced at Zhang Chen and thought to himself, why Zhang Chen never mentioned this matter to him. It seemed that he had never considered it. This is worth writing. Regardless of economic benefits, we must also consider social benefits. There are not many bosses with such foresight. Su Wenhui shouted, Mr. Zhang, I don't care whether you agree or not, I want this story. Write. Zhang Chen quickly said, you should write the story of Liangfen and Ge Donghai. There must be many people in old Hangzhou who remember them. If you write it, it can bring back their memories. Su Wenhui was stunned for a moment and shouted, really, this is really a good topic choice, thank you Mr. Zhang. I think our Zhejiangmei story is better, but it's a pity that I can't tell you, Lao Tang and Su Wenhui said. Lu Ligan and He Hongmei laughed. They knew what Lao Tang was referring to. Su Wenhui quickly asked Lao Tang, what is the story of Zhejiangmei? Can you tell me? Old Tang said, you can't report it even if I say so. It doesn't matter if you don't report it. Let's talk about it. Old Tang raised his glass and said to him, come on, drink. If you get drunk with us a few times, I can tell you the story. Su Wenhui said, okay, isn't it just wine? What are you afraid of? The two clinked glasses and drank. The factory was closed during the National Day, but Zhang Chen and the others were worried. During dinner, not only did He Hongmei come, but also Lao Tang, Yang, and He Hongmei's classmates came to the factory to have dinner. Without exception, they all come to wait for the sales situation in Shanghai. Not only for Zhang Chen, but also for them. Anyone who has no memories of Shanghai or the Shanghai No. 1 department store on Nanjing Road from childhood is very excited to be able to sell their own things there. Today is the day. The first day of business for the 6 stores in Shanghai is directly related to the stability of their foot in Shanghai. Who wouldn't care? Although it is still early for the sales figures of each store to be released, they can't sit down at home. Besides, they have been rushing for goods during this period. It is rare that they have free time today. It is good for everyone to get together and drink some wine. Zhang Chen even cooked today. Lu Ligan set the table in the yard. It was almost time for dinner. Su Wenhui also came over. In just one day, he and Lu Ligan became very good friends and felt that it was very interesting to play with Zhang Chen, Old Tang, and the others, so Lu Lepole dunked him, and he rushed over after finishing the interview task. Xiao Zhao is not here, she is in the store. Today, the store is busier than the day they opened. When they opened, not many people knew about their store. Now, their reputation is far and wide, not only in Hangzhou, but also in Hangzhou. Many people who come to Hangzhou have to visit their store. Even Zhang Xiangbei was led by He Hongmei today and did not follow Xiao Zhao. The days in early October are the most comfortable time in Hangzhou. The weather is no longer so hot, but it is not completely cold yet. Sitting outside wearing shorts and thin pants, the cool breeze is blowing, and there are not as many winds as in midsummer. Infested by mosquitoes and gnats, you can sit there for a long time. They ate until 9 o'clock in the evening, and the food was already cold. However, at this time, no one cared about the coldness of the food. Almost no one used chopsticks to hold the food. They sat mostly to drink or have their hands free. Go grab a few sections of salted edamame and peel them. At 9 o'clock, all the shopping malls were closed, but the sales results had not come out so quickly. On the contrary, their Yan'an Road store would be open until 10 o'clock in the evening. At 7:30, Xiao Zhao called and told Zhang Chen, the store's sales had already broken their sales record by the time she called. When He Hongmei heard this, she quickly called He Dongmei, put down the phone and proudly told them that we broke the news at 5 o'clock in Chongqing. The sales situation in Shanghai is not bad either. When Xiaoli was having dinner earlier, she called Zhang Chen and told Zhang Chen the sales situation during the day. The reason why they were still waiting was because of its ranking in the shopping mall. In the shopping mall, there are dozens of brands of clothing for sale at the same time. It is like a competition in which dozens of people participate. The ranking in the competition is more important than your personal performance. No matter how good your grades are, if you sit at the bottom, it means that your product is not very good, but there are too many people in the mall, which drives up your sales. This has a great impact on your status in the mall. Just like the salesperson of Yiming Food Factory, when he went to the mall in the past, he would be ridiculed in all kinds of ways. Now when he goes to the mall, he feels that his back is hardened. Another key factor is, the shopping mall will adjust some products every season. Those that are always ranked at the bottom will be notified to withdraw from the shelves, and the shopping mall also needs fresh blood. In the same place, they also hope that the sales volume per unit area is as high as possible. The elimination of the last place in the mall is very cruel. Some brands have been notified to prepare to withdraw from the cabinets before the paint for decoration has completely dried. These brands, the person in charge, meeting the department manager of the shopping mall, was like seeing a ghost. On the contrary, those brand managers with top sales always walk in the mall with style. They enter and leave the office of the department manager as if they were entering their own home. They also talk and laugh with the managers, just like sisters shopping. Zhang Chen and the others collectively moved to the distribution center. Now is the time when Zheng Huiyang and the others are most nervous and busy. There are already specialty stores that have closed early, and they have begun to send faxes one after another. When Zheng Huiyang saw them coming in, she knew what they were most concerned about. Tell Zhang Chen that Shanghai has not come yet. Zhang Chen nodded, wanting to tell her that he knew, but felt that it was superfluous. You know that is why you came in. Zhang Chen walked around the distribution center. What made him slightly satisfied was that Zhao Zhigang had tightened his grip some time ago and the distribution center had enough goods. It should be no problem to cope with the replenishment in the past 2 days. After a while, Zhao Zhigang and Zhao Zhilong also walked in. It seemed that they were also concerned about the situation in Shanghai. The distribution center suddenly became very lively. Zhang Chen's phone number suddenly rang, and everyone in the distribution center immediately shut up. Everyone looked at Zhang Chen. Everyone knew what the call at this time should be. Zhang Chen pretended to be calm. He turned on the phone. Xiaoli's voice rushed out. She had no time to wait to send the fax. Xiaoli shouted. Mr. Zhang, we ranked third in sales of 100 today. Are you sure? Zhang Chen asked. Make sure, I'm here with Manager Chen. She just praised us. Okay, I understand, Xiaoli, by the way, look at who the two in front are. Okay, I know Mr. Zhang, I will send you a fax later. After hanging up the phone, Zhang Chen breathed a sigh of relief, looked at Lu Ligan and Old Tang, and laughed. Stop pretending, what's the rank? Lu Ligan scolded. 3 Zhang Chen said, and the distribution center cheered. Then the good news kept coming. They rank second in Hualien Commercial Building, first in 900, and third in 600 and the other 2 companies. This battle is perfect. Zhang Chen quickly called Xiao Zhao and told him. Immediately afterwards, faxes were sent one after another. Mr. Zhang, Zheng Huiyang yelled. What's the matter? Zhang Chen asked. Shanghai needs to restock. Before Zhang Chen said anything, Zhao Zhigang shouted, okay, you guys will issue the distribution list immediately. I'll call Wu Ziyawai and Lao Wan to leave tonight, leave immediately. What to do next? It seems that I can only continue to drink. If I don't continue to drink when I am happy, then when will I drink? Su Wenhui pestered Old Tang and said, Old Tang, is it time for you to tell me what Jimi Eyes is? Old Tang raised his glass, is it that cheap? You've never gotten drunk even once. Thank you Yu, Lao Chen Tang, Dapen, and Chong Buletin Fei for your monthly votes. Thanks for all the reading and votes. I wish you all a happy life. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 702. Tan Shahen was not able to go to Beijing. The person who was most angry about this was her father, Lao Tan. Tan Shahen did not participate in the troupe's performance at the art festival. Feng Logui and Lao Tan explained that it was mainly because there was no one in Yongcheng who could. Lao Tan thought it was understandable to perform solo on such a big occasion, and the solo performance was the highlight of the opening ceremony. She needed Zhen Zhen to support the scene. On the day of the opening performance, he did not go to the scene, but the Yongcheng County TV station, with one camera, broadcast the entire performance live to the people of the county. Lao Tan watched Tan Shahen's performance on TV after singing solo. He also saw the reaction of the audience below. He felt that Feng Logui was right. Without Zhen Zhen, this performance would be ugly. He also watched Su Jianmi's 2 short plays and felt that this child still didn't make much progress, and that was probably it. But when Lao Tan found out that Tan Shahen was not included in the list of performances coming to Beijing this time, he couldn't figure it out. If it was a helpless move to replace Tan Shahen with Su Jianmi at the festival, what's going on now? His own children know what Tan Shahen's abilities are. How could such an important performance in Beijing not have Tan Shahen? How could Su Jianmi take the leading role? Feng Logui deliberately hid during those days and did not come home. Tan Shahen also disappeared. Even her granddaughter called for her mother every day, but she didn't know where her mother had gone. Lao Tan wanted to go to the Cultural Bureau several times, and even went to the theater troupe to ask the director and Lao Li what was going on, and who made the list. But Lao Tan was pulled back by Mrs. Tan. Mrs. Tan said, "Is this something she can ask? When you ask, it doesn't make it seem like Zhen Zhen is inferior to others, and she still needs your old face to come out and support her. Ever since she was a child, when has Zhen Zhen ever needed you to stand up for her?" Lao Tan thinks about it and it makes sense. This is really not something he can do. Today is different from the past. The Cultural Bureau is no longer the old director who invited him back. The troupe is no longer the old director. His son-in-law is still the head of the company. As for the deputy captain, if he wants to fight, he should fight for Zhen Zhen. Why bother with your old face? I'm afraid that if you don't win the face, you will lose your own face. Besides, is Zhen Zhen worth fighting with Su Jianmi? Given their strength, are these people blind? Lao Tan has always believed that such mistakes will definitely be corrected and that such a thing will never really happen. But the troop still set off, led by the secretary and the county magistrate. Tan Shahen was left behind. Lao Tan felt that he was so ashamed that he did not even dare to go downstairs. He felt that as long as he appeared in front of people, people would definitely come to him. Pointing behind his back. The second day after the troop set off, Tan Shahen came home to see her daughter. The father and daughter started to quarrel without saying a few words. Lao Tan cursed Tan Shahen, Feng Logui, Teacher Li, the Cultural Affairs Bureau, and even that what a bullshit old leader. He was also scolded by him. What the heck, he's just a country bumpkin. When he became an official, he felt that he was omnipotent and knew everything. He had to point fingers at everything. What he thought was a wise instruction was actually taken as a joke, and he still had the nerve to be shy. He is complacent on the stage. What does he know about literature and art? After talking for a long time, he is not a country bumpkin. He is not even a half-hearted person. A halfway person is better than him. Lao Tan was cursing non-stop. Tan Shahen felt her head was spinning and wanted to run away. Lao Tan shouted angrily, "Where are you going? Go home. Go home. Go home and take your daughter back. There is no more drama to be performed, and your mother doesn't want to do it anymore. But, I have to perform tonight. The troupe has gone to Beijing, what are you going to do?" Tan Shahen suddenly felt a little discouraged. She murmured in a low voice, "I still have a cultural center. Look at what you look like now. You can't perform well in serious performances. You go to some dance hall to sing in the middle of the night. Are you a singer? Are you going to sing Tian Ya Hai Jiao, or Lang Yame? That song and dance hall, who are the people in there? Can there be a good person in there? Tan Shahen's mother was a little dissatisfied with Tan Shahen at first. She felt that if she didn't go to Beijing, she wouldn't go. It was not a serious performance in Beijing and it was no big deal. But when it came to singing in this dance hall, she was not angry at all. What she objected to the most was Tan Shahen singing in some dance hall. Some time ago, she said she was rehearsing for an art festival performance. Ms. Tan didn't say anything. The art festival has passed, why are you still going to the dance hall? Lao Tan was right, any good people there would be just hooligans. Even if you sleep at home every day, you might as well hang out with these gangsters. Tan Shahen couldn't bear the attack from both sides. She picked up her daughter and hurriedly left her parents' house. When she got downstairs, she discovered that she didn't even take her daughter's milk bottle or milk powder. She didn't bother to go back to get it. She just went to buy some on the street. Got bottles and milk powder. Taking her daughter, Tan Shahen went to Teacher Shi. Teacher Shi told her that Jinbo, the reporter from Yongcheng Daily, had called you several times. Tan Shahen pretended not to hear. She told Teacher Shi that she would not be able to sing for the next 2 days and would take care of her daughter at home. Aren't your grandparents helping to raise your daughter? Teacher Shi was surprised. Tan Shahen quickly said that her parents had not been feeling well these past 2 days. I met Ms. Tan this morning and we stood and chatted for a while. Teacher Shi was even more surprised. Tan Shahen had forgotten that Teacher Shi also lived in the dormitory courtyard of the cultural system and met her parents without looking up. She was a little embarrassed at the time and had to say that it was actually her grandpa who had a cold and was afraid of infecting her. Teacher Shi nodded, that's it? It's true that he hasn't seen Mr. Tan Tan in the past 2 days. It turns out he is ill. Tan Shahen asked for leave for only 1 week. This made Teacher Shi and other people in the art troupe very worried. They saw that fewer and fewer people came every night. Even those who still came asked questions when they came. Teacher Shi, is Tan Shahen coming? Come, definitely come, she has been feeling a little unwell these past 2 days, Teacher Shi told them. When will you arrive? Teacher Shi couldn't explain this. She couldn't explain to them the day after tomorrow. If Tan Shahen still didn't come, they would scold her and think she was cheating them of their ticket money. Teacher Shi could only tell them, come soon as you recover. Of all the people, only Shen Linlin was the happiest. Without Tan Shahen, she had returned to her original position in the song and dance hall. She felt that her singing skills had improved a lot in the past few days. Although the appetites of those below have been whetted by Tan Shahen, no matter how hard Shen Linlin sings, there is still little applause, including the musicians on the stage who are listless when accompanying her. But Shen Linlin still felt happy in her heart, and even some of her past arrogance was back. She pointed at a bit of black and cursed, what's the matter with you, can you still blow it properly? If not, just take a rest. Diane Wu glared at her, but there was nothing he could do. Haha, Shen Linlin was secretly happy in her heart. She liked to see them helpless, including Teacher Shi. She must be careful when talking to Shen Linlin now, otherwise, I won't come either. Look at your song and dance hall, including this art group, can it still hold on? Teacher Shi and others felt uncomfortable. In fact, Tan Shahen felt even more uncomfortable being alone at home. After dinner every day, it was the time she used to go to the dance hall to sing. People are very adaptable and dependent. She has adapted to this. She hurried outside, but now she was asked to stand in front of the window every day and watch the road ahead, which was getting darker little by little. Tan Shahen now no longer sings at the top of her voice in the morning, but she can't sing at the top of her voice at night. After a few days, she feels that her throat is blocked and she feels uncomfortable all over. From such a distance, she seemed to be able to hear the noisy sound in the dance hall, as well as the applause and screams. It was these applause and screams that made her miss and get used to it the most. Tan Shahan felt that she had nowhere to vent her energy. She took a rag and scrubbed the cement floor over and over again. She put her daughter on the floor and let her crawl around the room. She always stood in front of the window blankly, thinking about his own thoughts blankly. As she thought about it for a long time, she felt a little panicked. She felt like she was floating in mid-air and couldn't land anywhere. Her relationship is still with the troupe, and she also knows that it is impossible for no one in the troupe to treat her like Zhang Chen and Lu Ligan. Her salary is also paid as usual, and teacher Li also checks her attendance every day. But she knew that she could no longer go back to that theater troupe. She could not go back to the place where she grew up, and it was impossible to go back. Every time she passed under the high roof, her scalp would feel tight and her feet would speed up involuntarily. She was afraid of running into people from the troupe. Although they met several times, the people in the troupe and her remained as usual, as if nothing had happened. It was as if Tan Shahan had been on Gaohong a few minutes ago. Their voices and attitudes had not changed, but their relationship with each other had not changed. During this time, they were avoiding many things, which not only made Tan Shahan, but also the other party want to end their chat as soon as possible. When Tan Shahan and the people from the troupe met, they had less and less time to chat. Finally, they just stopped. When they met again, they were accustomed to smiling from a distance, saying hello and walking over without stopping. The troupe can't go back, where will it go next? Tan Shahan herself didn't understand that although she could still go to the dance hall to sing every night and get a daily subsidy, this was not a formal job after all. It is impossible for Tan Shahan to remain without a formal job and just float in the air. When she was in Teacher Shi's office, Tan Shahan thought that she might just find a way to move the cultural center to work, but she knew this was impossible. There are only a few cultural centers in a county, and the librarians are all in harmony. One is in charge of art, one is in charge of music and performance, one is in charge of folk literature, one is in charge of photography, and one is editing Yongcheng Kunwen information and a half-monthly tabloid. There is also a cashier, even the accountant is part-time accountant of the Cultural Affairs Bureau, and the rest are the director and deputy director. Tan Shahan can't do any other work, unless she comes and Teacher Shi leaves. How is this possible? Tan Shahan looked outside, the sky was getting dark, and she couldn't help but let out a long sigh. Thank you to Laughing and Running Y for the tip. Thank you Tiger, Li Rujin, Cheng Shanming, Bronze, 1890-798-3117, and Lely for your monthly votes. Thank you for all the votes and reading. I wish you all good health. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 703. Feng Logui came back from Beijing in the afternoon, and Tan Shahan went to the song and dance hall that night. Whether it was members of the art troupe or early customers, everyone saw Tan Shahan after a long absence, and they all gave enthusiastic applause, and Shen Linlin, mouth they were all furious. Teacher Shi pulled Tan Shahan to the corridor outside the song and dance hall, and said to her with a smile, if you don't come, I will go to the U Opera troupe to find you tomorrow. I'm sorry, Teacher Shi, I really can't leave these days. Logui will come back in the afternoon, and I will rush over in the evening, Tan Shahan said quickly. Teacher Shi knew that she had misunderstood and quickly told her. I'm looking for you, not here, but to go to Hangzhou to participate in the Sanjiang Cup Young Singers Grand Prix. I have already signed up for you and Shen Linlin. The preliminaries will start on September 10th, and the preliminaries will start on September 30th, which is the evening final of the Mid-Autumn Festival. Hangcheng TV station will broadcast the game live. The top 6 in this competition are eligible to participate in the Kahwa Cup Young Singer Grand Prix organized by the provincial television station, the Provincial Federation of Literary and Art Circles and the Provincial Department of Culture in May next year, which is also the title of the CCTV Young Singer Grand Prix. Preliminary round. This competition is divided into professional and amateur groups. The top 3 in the 2 groups will represent our province in the CCTV National Young Singer Grand Prix in November next year. Do you still remember what Dong Hua said to you? Don't forget your agreement. Teacher Shi, do I belong to the professional group or the amateur group? Tan Shehen asked. You are an opera actor and not a professional singer. Of course you belong to the amateur group. Zhejiang and Hangzhou singers are in the professional group, Teacher Shi said. Fortunately, if I were to compete with the professional group, I would be under great pressure. After hearing this, Tan Shehen patted her chest with her hand. Teacher Shi smiled and said, What, you are very confident in the amateur group. Tan Shehen smiled and said quickly, Thank you, Teacher Shi. I will definitely work hard. When Teacher Shi was talking, Tan Shehen felt that a road was slowly unfolding in front of her. If she could participate in the CCTV competition and appear on the CCTV screen, at that time, little Yang Cheng, what a small time. What does it mean to perform in Beijing? Going to CCTV is the real performance in Beijing, right? Tan Shehen immediately decided that she must seize this opportunity. The next morning, Feng Logui was surprised to find that Tan Shehen went downstairs to hang her throat again early in the morning. As soon as Tan Shehen opened her voice, Lao Li from upstairs shouted from the window, It sounds nice. Tan Shehen turned around and smiled, Thank you, Teacher Li. Then continue. Feng Logui lay on the bed and breathed a sigh of relief. He thought that during the days when he went to Beijing, Tan Shehen had probably figured it out. The last list change, including this performance in Beijing, had probably completely changed. Feng Logui got up and saw that his daughter was sleeping soundly in his little bed. He went to the bathroom at the end of the corridor to wash his face and brush his teeth. When he went there, he brought a steel pot and rice. After washing, he washed the rice himself. When I came back, I took away the kettle from the stove, sat the steel pot on the briquette stove, and opened the door under the stove a little. Feng Logui walked to the window and looked at Tan Shehen singing babblingly below. After watching for a while, Feng Logui turned around and looked at his sleeping daughter. It seemed that she would not wake up yet. He tried to try around the small bed. The bolts were all in place, and even if my daughter woke up, she couldn't crawl out. Feng Logui picked up his bag, walked out, and went downstairs. As before, he didn't say hello to Tan Shehen. He went out along that road and then went up the semicircular slope. At the bottom of the slope, he could still hear Tan Shehen's babbling voice looming behind him. Su Jianmi's clear babbling voice can be heard in Gaohong. Feng Logui walked up and saw Su Jianmi and 2 young practitioners standing between the camphor tree and the tallow tree. Feng Logui walked into the office and put his bag away. He walked out and stood beside Su Jianmi. Su Jianmi stopped. She walked over and stood next to the 2 young students, continuing to babbling. Feng Logui was stunned for a moment, shook his head slightly, and continued to chant ah. At 9 o'clock, although everyone did not know what to rehearse next, they still went to the practice room. Everyone stood there, you looked at me, I looked at you, and finally looked at Teacher Li, but Feng Logui looking at the door, he knew that Tan Shehen could come in at any time and give everyone a surprise. Of course, it would be a shock to some. But to Feng Logui's surprise, Tan Shehen never appeared at the door. Teacher Li clapped his hands and shouted, Come on, everyone, come over, let's go through the old leader's play again. Xiang was the first to express her objection. She shouted, This is a crappy show. It's still scheduled. I'm about to vomit. Others also felt that the historical mission of this play has been completed, so why bother excluding it? Who would want to watch it except the old man who would watch it excitedly? Could it be that we have to go to Beijing for the second time? Suji and me, I wanted to continue rehearsing the play over and over again, but everyone objected and she couldn't say anything. After returning from Beijing, Suji and me, I became a celebrity. Yongcheng Daily used 2 pages to publish the grand performance of their performance in Beijing, and also used 1 page to publish an exclusive interview with Suji and me. Yongcheng TV station also broadcast exclusive interviews with Suji and me for several days in a row. Suddenly, almost everyone in Yongcheng didn't know about the Yongcheng Wu Opera Troupe's performance in Beijing. Everyone knew about Suji and me, and the Wu Opera Troupe had originally the famous celebrity Tan Shahan seemed to have disappeared out of thin air. In addition, the county also held a celebration party specifically for this performance in Beijing. It was said that this performance report in Beijing shocked Beijing and greatly expanded Yongcheng's reputation at home and abroad. Suji and me and Feng Laogui and teacher Li both received red certificates and 300 yuan bonuses from the secretary and the county magistrate. Ding Begu revealed to Suji and me that this year's Yongcheng Literary Award has been decided. The group award will go to our theater group, and the individual award will go to you and Feng Laogui. Suji and me, I was surprised after hearing this. Wasn't this Wu Opera Troupe originally your troupe? How come it has become Ding Begu's troupe now? Feng Laogui didn't even dare to take the certificate of award he received at the celebration party home and threw it on top of the cabinet in the office. After the celebration party, the Yongcheng Wu troupe also began to return to its original days. There were still no new plays to rehearse and no performances to perform. The secretary and the county magistrate said in front of the old leaders that the play should be released as soon as possible. The word spread throughout the province and across the country, neither those who spoke nor those who listened took them seriously. Fortunately, it is said that because the first Yongcheng Summer Art Festival was a huge success, the county has decided to hold a second one next year, and then 3 and 4 more. In this way, the Yongcheng County Wu Opera Troupe will still have hope next year, the year after that, and every year. This year, let's continue our days of being free. After Feng Laogui came back, Tan Shahan sang her voice every morning and continued to sing in the dance hall in the evening. Feng Laogui stopped rehearsing and took care of the children at home in the evening. Faced with the fact that Tan Shahan came home so late every day, although she had objections, she didn't. What is the reason to object? Tan Shahan sings and has a higher income than in a theater troupe. This is the best reason. When Tan Shahan was singing on the stage, she saw Jinbo sitting below from a distance. Tan Shahan pretended not to see it. When the song and dance hall ended, she went downstairs, and Jinbo flashed out from behind a tree and said to her hello. Tan Shahan replied hello. Yudian walked to the door, and when he saw them, he stopped and did not continue to come. Can I have a good talk with you? Jinbo asked. Tan Shahan smiled. I don't think there is anything to talk about. Jinbo was stunned for a moment, then continued, I think there are some things that we should make clear. Something? What's going on between us? Tan Shahan asked. Jinbo was stunned and ran out of words. He felt why he was no longer so articulate. Tan Shahan looked at him and smiled and said, okay, if you want to make it clear, then I will make it clear to you. I have a husband, a daughter, and I am about to reach my 30s. What are you doing? Very romantic, but I think it's better to deal with the little girl. Maybe you can hit the target with perfect accuracy. Tan Shahan turned around and saw Dian Wu standing in the distance, and shouted to him, let's go, take me home. Yudian Wu came over quickly. The sound of motorcycles rang downstairs, and Feng Laogui heard Yudian Wu saying goodbye and Tan Shahan saying goodbye. Feng Laogui walked over and turned on the lights in the corridor, and also opened the door. Tan Shahan came in, looked at her daughter on the small bed, and asked, "What time did she go to bed?" 10 o'clock. So late again. No way, she said she would wait for you to come back and sing to her. You can do it too, but you can't sing. She found it unpleasant when I sang it. Tan Shahen laughed softly, took the basin and towel from Feng Logui, and went to the bathroom to wash up. Feng Logui remembered that it had been a long time since Tan Shahen had not smelled alcohol either from her mouth or her body. Feng Logui breathed a sigh of relief. He felt that Tan Shahen now looked more like someone who had returned from the night shift in the factory. Worker. The two of them took off their clothes and went to bed. In the darkness, Tan Shahen said, "Logui." Feng Logui hummed. "I'm going to Hangzhou at noon tomorrow and will stay in Hangzhou for 2 nights," Tan Shahen said. "What are you going for?" "To participate in the Sanjiang Singer competition. I went with teacher Shi and Shen Linlin." Feng Logui said, "Oh. Of course Feng Logui knows about this competition. It is an event organized by Hangzhou TV station, Hangzhou Musicians Association and Hangzhou Group Arts Center. It has been held for several times. The so-called three rivers refer to the Xianan River, Fukun River, and Qiantang River. They are said to be three rivers, but they are actually one river. This river originates from Huangshan Mountain in Anhui Province, flows into Qiandao Lake through Tungzi and Shi County in Anhui Province, and flows out from the Xianan River hydropower station to Michan. This section is collectively called the Xianan River. It continues downward through Tonglu to Fuang. This section is called the Fukun River. The section from Fuang through Hangcheng and Haining until Hangzhou Bay flows into the East China Sea is called the Qiantang River. In the past few years, young singer Grand Prix competitions under various names have become popular across the country. The Sanjiang Cup Young Singer Grand Prix is the highest level and most formal competition in Hangzhou. Participants include 5 districts in Hangzhou, and the following contestants selected by 7 county cultural centers. From the day Tan Shahen learned singing from teacher Shi, Feng Logui knew that teacher Shi would select Tan Shahen to participate in this competition, so Feng Logui was not surprised when Tan Shahen told him. He also suddenly understood that the reason why Tan Shahen still got up and hoisted her voice every day should be to participate in this competition, not to return to the troupe. Feng Logui felt a little disappointed and a little angry. He was angry because Tan Shahen was leaving tomorrow and he only told himself today. But if she told you 10 days or a week in advance, would there be any difference? Thank you, a wolf, for the reward. Thank you for all the votes and reading. Have a good evening, everyone. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei-Shi Niang. Chapter 704. It was already evening when Tan Shahen and the others arrived in Hangzhou. It was the first time for Tan Shahen to participate in the Sanjiang Cup Young Singer Grand Prix and she didn't know anything. Shen Linlin had been here several times, so she was familiar with the scene. Opposite the Wulanmen long-distance station, they took the bus to Hangzhou City Art Museum in Kai District 3. Of course, the art center was off work at this time. They were staying at the Wenyuan guest house next to the art museum. Teams from various counties who come to participate in the competition all live here. Teacher Shi and others also live here when they come to the Municipal Art Center for business trips or meetings. The preliminaries are scheduled to be held from 1 to 5 p.m. the next day in the small theater of the Hangzhou Art Center. It actually only lasts half a day, but because there is no shuttle bus from Hangzhou to Yongcheng after 4:10, they have to stay here for one more night. When they arrived, the foyer of Wenyuan guest house was bustling with people. The teams from Linan County and Chunnan County had just arrived. The leading teachers from the two counties and teacher Shi knew each other. When they met, they naturally wanted to get intimate. Even Shen Linlin also. I saw several acquaintances shouting at each other. They are all regular attendees of this event. The teams from other counties have both men and women, and they all have more contestants than Yongcheng. They are the fewest. In previous years, Yongcheng would have 5 or 6 people, men and women. Why they only brought 2 of them this year, even Shen Linlin didn't understand. What she didn't know was that because of the art festival, many guests from the fraternity hall came from all over the province. Just receiving the guests was a huge expense, and they also had to arrange travel. Therefore, after the art festival, the cultural center's funds were particularly tight. Teacher Shi had already asked the gym to take the 2 of them. Originally, according to the gym's intention, only Tan Shehen was arranged to participate in the competition. Teacher Shi was afraid that Tan Shehen would feel too much pressure if she came alone, which would affect her performance. It would be better to have a companion. Teacher Shi also has a small calculation. She thinks that Tan Shehen will definitely be in the top 6. If she is in the top 6, they will participate in the provincial competition in May next year. The cycle is longer and the cost is more. She, the teacher, even thinks that Tan Shehen is very likely to be able to go to Beijing. If so, the expenses will be even greater. Although you can apply for additional funds, the number that can be obtained is still limited. The cultural center's funding is based on a rough amount for each stall. Each stall has its own competition, pen meeting, or exhibition to participate in. You cannot take up other people's funds. If the funds are not enough, you need to attract sponsorship yourself. Teacher Shi is most afraid of soliciting sponsorships, so he saves whatever he can and prepares the money to be put to great use. The 3 of them asked for a triple room. After eating and taking a shower in the restaurant of the guest house, Teacher Shi went to the homes of her classmates. Several of her classmates worked in the municipal art center and cultural centers in various districts. The people in this system where Hanga works basically live in Zayawai. Shen Linlin also went to see a movie with a boy from Fuang. Tan Shehen was alone and not familiar with Hangzhou. She didn't go anywhere. She just walked around and looked at the entrance of the guest house and the entrance of the group art center next door. In the window at the entrance of the group art museum, there was an exhibition of works by members of the Municipal Photographers Association. Here, she unexpectedly saw Jinbo's works. It was also a black and white portrait of a girl. Tan Shehen felt that this girl seemed familiar, but she couldn't remember which unit in Yongcheng she belonged to. Tan Shehen thought to herself, would she also be invited to the house at the forestry works station to see Jinbo's developed photos? She thought that she would probably do it, and she would still listen to Karen Carpenter's singing in the dim light, loosely coming from the depths of darkness. Tan Shehen couldn't help laughing and shook her head. Tan Shehen walked to the door of the group art center and unexpectedly found a notice posted on the door. It said that the small theater where they will compete tomorrow is holding a Hangzhou City News Story competition. Those who participate in the Sanjiang Cup Young Singer Grand Prix must present their participation certificates. Admission is free. Tan Shehen walked in and found a seat to sit down. She saw Wu Wenchang from Tonglu, Wang Renkang from Xiaoshan, and someone she knew, Wang Liming, who was also from Yongcheng, performing on the stage. The storytelling session was still going on, but Tan Shehen felt sleepy. She originally wanted to wait for the storytelling session to end and say hello to Wang Liming. At this time, she stopped. She left the small theater and returned to the room. Teacher Shi and Shen Linlin before she came back, Tan Shehen went to bed first. The preliminaries started in the afternoon of the next day. The rules of the preliminaries were very simple. First, all the participating players drew lots. Whichever number you drew, you would be the first to appear. The contestants take the stage one by one to sing on top, and there are 5 judges sitting in a row below. There are 2 signs in front of each person, one with square root on it, and one with you are eliminated and you can leave. If 3 of them raise square root, you are passed and you can leave. Some people got X's after singing 2 or 3 lines, and some were lucky enough to get 3 square root S after singing a few lines and jumped down happily from the stage. Tan Shehen experienced this kind of scene for the first time, and she suddenly became nervous. She felt that her throat was tight and her palms were sweaty. This was something she had never seen before, even at the opening ceremony of an art festival, facing thousands of people below. Although there are only 5 people in the audience, she is not so nervous. Why is she so nervous when there are only 5 people below? Tan Shahen thought for a while and understood. There are thousands of viewers. Some people like you and some don't like you. You don't know at all. It's just a matter of how much applause you get. But today, these 5 people have 1 person, 1 vote. You have more, 1 vote will pass, 1 less vote will result in elimination. 5 people, every vote is crucial. How do you know what they like? Teacher She came over, shook Tan Shahen's hand, and asked curiously, "Are you nervous?" Tan Shahen nodded. "You go on stage every day, why are you still nervous?" Teacher She asked. "It's different, Teacher She. When I went on stage before, no one ever rated me. I just sang my own songs when I got on stage and didn't pay attention to the people below. Today." Teacher She understood and said with a smile, "Just treat them as ordinary viewers." "Okay, but I can't do it," Tan Shahen said. Teacher She thought for a moment and said to Tan Shahen, "It's actually not that scary. By the way, do you think who sings better, you or Shen Linlin?" Tan Shahen was coy. "How should I say this? To be honest, there are only 2 of us here," Teacher She said with a smile. Tan Shahen pointed at herself. "Shen Linlin is in front of you today. If Shen Linlin can pass it, wouldn't you be nervous and think that you can definitely pass it?" Tan Shahen nodded. Teacher She smiled and said, "Then let me tell you, Shen Linlin will definitely be able to pass, and you will be able to pass even more." "Real?" "Yes, I basically know the level of the contestants here. I also know the judges. Just watch it. Shen Linlin will definitely pass. As for you, when it's your turn, don't think about anything when you go on stage and just sing randomly. I'll pass it. If I say this, are you still nervous?" Tan Shahen shook her head, nodded again, and asked, "Is it really okay for me to sing randomly?" "Yes, you can. Just let go and sing randomly." Teacher She put her hand on Tan Shahen's lower abdomen and said to her, "Put your hand here before going on stage and take 3 deep breaths. You will not be nervous." "Okay, thank you, Teacher She." It was Shen Linlin's turn. Tan Shahen stood on the side of the stage and watched her walk up. Tan Shahen felt that she was more nervous than she was. She thought about Teacher She's words and shouted in her heart, "Pass it, you pass it, I will go on stage and sing randomly, it's all over." Shen Linlin took the stage to sing Crying Sand by Huang Yingying. When she sang "The sand blown by the wind falls in my sad eyes, everyone can see that I am waiting for you. The sand blown by the wind accumulates in my heart. A trace that no one can erase." 4 of the 5 judges below raised square root. Tan Shahen felt a stone in her heart fell to the ground, and she was suddenly relieved. Teacher She was indeed right. Shen Linlin had really passed. Teacher She also said that from now on, all you have to do is go up and sing randomly. What else do you have to be nervous about? However, she still felt a little nervous. Tan Shahen was number 37, and number 36 came on stage and started singing. Tan Shahen put her hands on her abdomen and started to take deep breaths. She kept telling herself to relax. Unexpectedly, number 36 was knocked down after singing 2 lines. Probably because the judges saw that the time was almost 5 o'clock and that there were more than 20 people behind who did not sing, they sped up the speed. Tan Shahen was caught off guard. Before I took 3 deep breaths, she felt that she hadn't adjusted well yet. Why was it her turn? She suddenly became nervous again. The other contestants were probably also a little surprised, feeling that number 36 was eliminated too quickly, without giving them any face. There was a buzzing sound in the small theater. Number 37, hurry up, the host urged. Tan Shahen was stunned for a moment, and then she realized that he was calling her. She felt that it was all too fast, and her heart became confused. Tan Shahen hurriedly walked onto the stage. When she got to the stage and stood under the spotlight, Tan Shahen felt that she was not as panicked as she was off the stage. Who told her that she was born for the stage? She composed herself and then started singing. There was no accompaniment in the preliminaries. What Tan Shahen sang today was Still I Love You, China. When the song The Lark Flies from the Blue Sky, I Love You, China sounded, the small theater suddenly became quiet. Tan Shahen heard her own voice hovering over the theater and thought, oh no, no. The mood is not full enough. But she immediately rejected such distracting thoughts. After all, she still has enough stage experience. She knows that when you get on stage, there is no turning back when you open your mouth. No matter how bad your physical condition is, you must concentrate and continue singing. Go down. Tan Shahen continued to sing like this. The 5 judges in the audience looked at each other, and then looked at her. There was a voice in Tan Shahen's heart urging, lift it, lift your cards, but she immediately got rid of the voice. Allow yourself to get on with it. I want to dedicate my beautiful youth to you, my mother, my motherland. After Tan Shahen finished singing, the theater was still quiet. The 5 judges were sitting there, no one raised their. Tan Shahen knew that she was finished, and she became nervous again. What does this mean? Anyway, I must have failed in my performance, otherwise, others would not have allowed me to sing a whole song like this. Where were you selected as a contestant? Finally, a judge asked. Yongcheng. Tan Shahen replied softly, almost crying. Is this your first time participating in this competition? Asked another judge. Tan Shahen nodded, the first time is the last time. And what the judges wanted to ask, Tan Shahen became anxious and asked, teachers, can I do it? The 5 judges were stunned for a moment, then looked at each other, and then all raised their square root. Tan Shahen was taken aback and could hardly believe her eyes. One of the judges smiled and said to her, you sang very well. We just wanted to listen to it for a while. You passed, are you satisfied? Tan Shahen nodded quickly, satisfied, thank you teacher. Thank you, book friend 2017100107530865 for your monthly pass to Bustling Farce. Thanks for all the votes and reading. I wish you all a happy life. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 705. Tan Shahen was very happy after passing the preliminaries, but teacher, she didn't say anything special. It seemed that all this was within her expectations, and indeed it was within her expectations. Next, teacher, she went to her classmates' homes for dinner. As soon as the competition was over, she chatted with them for a few words and left. Tan Shahen and Shen Linlin completed their mission to Hangzhou and had nothing to do next. They felt completely relaxed. Shen Linlin asked Tan Shahen, where are you going at night? Tan Shahen said, I'm not familiar with Hangzhou at all, and I don't know anything about it. Either we go to Woolen Square, eat fast food at the entrance of Hangcheng Building, and then visit Hangcheng Building and International Building. By the way, I also want to go to the Banmushan Women's Lifestyle flagship store nearby. I heard that the owner of the store is still from Yongcheng. Tan Shahen was startled. Isn't this Zhang Chen's shop? Feng Logui and Xiao Wu came here last time when they sent invitations. They also described to themselves when they went back, saying how beautiful this store was. Tan Shahen said, okay, I'll just follow you. I'm not familiar with it anyway. She didn't tell Shen Linlin that the owner of Ban Mu Tian was originally from their theater troupe, and she was very familiar with him. The two of them got off the bus at Huanchen North Road behind Woolen Square. They first went to the row of simple rooms next to the parking lot in front of Hangcheng Building and ate beef vermicelli and fried buns. Then they went to Hangcheng Building. The things were too expensive. The two of us walked around and bought nothing. At this time, it was already dark outside. The musical fountain in Woolen Square lit up and there were more people in the square. They stood and looked at the fountain for a while. The Huanbei small commodity market in the square was also open at night. They went in after shopping around. One person bought a hairpin, and Tan Shehen returned it to her daughter and bought a Donald Duck toy. They then crossed Stadium Road and went to the International Building opposite. When they walked to the door, they felt that this place was similar to Hangcheng Building, so they did not go in. They simply walked directly along Yan'an Road towards Jifang Road to go to Ban Mu Tian Women's Life flagship store. Before they reached the door, the two of them were shocked by the lights all over the floor in front of the door and the tall and majestic door. Tan Shehen suddenly felt sour in her heart. She seemed to see Zhang Chen in these. It had been a long time since she had seen him. Tan Shehen used to perform in the sets painted by Zhang Chen and the props designed by him every day. She was very familiar with his style. Yes, these all have the flavor of Zhang Chen. Tan Shehen heard Feng Logui say that this place is very beautiful, but she didn't know it was so beautiful. No wonder, Feng Logui's mouth was too stupid, and he didn't have the witty words of Lu Ligan. In addition, it was daytime when they came, so they didn't know that this place was beautiful. The beauty of the night. The two of them were lingering at the door of the store, seemingly reluctant to go in. Unfortunately, they didn't have a camera. When they entered, they realized that the clothes inside were so beautiful. Tan Shehen saw Zhang Chen's style and Zhang Chen's aura inside. She couldn't tell what it was specifically, but she could feel it. It was designed by Zhang Chen. If Zhang Chen designed it, it would be like this. Just like when they were together before, they knew what the other person was thinking without saying a lot of words, or half of what they said, they knew what was left unsaid. There were many times, Tan Shehen even felt that she and Zhang Chen were closer than Lu Ligan. There was a tacit understanding when we were together. The two of them were walking around in the store and felt that there were many clothes they liked, but they had to restrain themselves. Their wallets did not allow them, so they could only choose one piece each. They took the clothes to the checkout counter. Shen Linlin asked the cashier, "We are from Yongcheng. I heard that you can get discounts in Yongcheng here?" "Are you from Yongcheng?" the cashier asked. "Really, I'm not going to lie to you. Do you want me to show you my ID card?" The cashier shook his head. "No, I heard it. Yes, people in Yongcheng get 12% off when they buy clothes from us." Shen Linlin smiled happily and said, "I just heard my colleagues in my unit say this to me, but I didn't expect it to be true." Tan Shehen was surprised and asked the cashier, "How did you know that we were from Yongcheng?" The cashier smiled and said, "There are many Yongcheng people who come to buy things from us. You Yongcheng people like to say yes and hello when talking." Tan Shehen and Shen Linlin couldn't help but blush slightly when they heard this. Shen Linlin asked, "Why don't we in Yongcheng have your store?" The cashier said, "Yes, 6 of the 7 counties below Hangcheng have our stores, but there is none in Yongcheng. It is said that the boss won't let us go." "Why?" "We don't know either, there just aren't any." When the two of them were walking around, they saw that the patio was very beautiful. There were just a few chairs, but they were full of people. After shopping for clothes, they walked around for a while and saw that there happened to be 2 empty chairs in the patio, so they hurried over and sat down. After sitting down, she smelled a faint fragrance of osman thus. Tan Shehen looked around and found it. Behind the rockery in the fish pond, there was an old golden osman thus plant open like a fan. Shen Linlin looked at the surrounding glass walls, which were filled with light. Shen Linlin sighed and said, This place is so beautiful. I don't know where the boss here is from, Yongchang Shen Linlin said to herself, and then asked, Zhen Zhen, do you know? Tan Shehen shook her head. Tan Shehen was startled when she heard someone calling, hello, Mr. Zhang. She looked into the store and saw Zhang Chen coming in from the door. Tan Shehen quickly turned to the fish pond, lowered her head, and pretended to be looking at the fish pond. Fish in. Out of the corner of his eye, he saw Zhang Chen reflected in the glass as he walked to the stairs, looking towards the patio as if out of habit, and then walked upstairs. Hey, that guy just now is their boss, why does it look so familiar to me? Shen Linlin pulled Tan Shahen's sleeve and said to her. Oops, Tan Shahen shouted. What's wrong? Shen Linlin asked. I forgot that I have to buy a baby bottle for my daughter. Come on, and accompany me to the department store opposite, Tan Shahen shouted. Hey, I don't have a baby bottle anywhere, so I have to go to Hangzhou to buy it. You don't know, my daughter is very annoyed. She only recognizes this kind of milk bottle. She won't even take milk from other bottles. I need to buy a spare one. When Shen Linlin heard what Tan Shahen said, she quickly stood up. The two of them walked out of the half-acre field and hurriedly walked towards the Hangcheng department store diagonally opposite. When she arrived at the maternal and infant counter, Tan Shahen pointed to a baby bottle and said to Shen Linlin, this is it. There is feeding here. The two bought milk bottles and went downstairs, standing in front of Hangbei and waiting for the bus. Shen Linlin looked at the Ban Mutian women's lifestyle flagship store diagonally opposite and suddenly shouted, I remembered. What do you remember? Tan Shahen asked. The boss here, the boss of this store. Shen Linlin pointed to half an acre of land and shouted, do you still remember that there used to be an advertisement for Youth Treasure at the entrance to the city? This person is the person who drew that advertisement. Yes, that's right, why do you look so familiar to me? Tan Shahen smiled without saying anything. Shen Linlin continued, he painted so well, it looked real. I often watched him paint below at that time, and I really wanted him to paint one for me, but I was embarrassed. Tan Shahen smiled and said, it would be great if you knew him then. Then maybe we can get 50% off on our clothes today. Hey, maybe I've already married him and am the boss lady here. When you come, I'll give you the clothes. Shen Linlin said, and both of them laughed and laughed. Tan Shahen felt that she was about to burst into tears. Zhang Chen walked upstairs, and when he was about to reach the door of Xiao Zhao's office, he stopped, thought for a while, turned around and walked downstairs, walked to the stairs below, looked into the patio, shook his head, turned towards go upstairs. The seats here are so popular. As soon as Tan Shahen and Shen Linlin stood up and walked out, a couple immediately sat down where they had been sitting. After Tan Shahen returned to Yongcheng, she began to prepare for the next finals. The final is September 30th, the night of the Mid-Autumn Festival. Originally, the pre-finals could have been completed on the same day. There was no need to divide it into 2 times with several days in between. That was because the final in Hangzhou, it is no small matter for the TV station to conduct live broadcast. All contestants participating in the finals must undergo political review. The few days between these days gave Tan Shahen just enough time to prepare. Tan Shahen went to teacher Shi every afternoon, and her daughter could be said to be completely handed over to Feng Logui. Teacher Shi prepared 4 songs for Tan Shahen, namely My Motherland and Me, Sister Looking for Brother in Tears, White Feathers Send Deep Affection, Springs on the Border Clear and Pure. The two of them sang these 4 songs. Song, consider it word by word. Shen Linlin looked on and sneered. After so many preparations, are you going to win the championship, which is the first prize? What a wishful thinking. Tan Shahen didn't know why she had to prepare 4 songs. Teacher Shi asked her to prepare them, so she prepared them. Shen Linlin knew that according to the format of the Sanjiang Cup competition, A total of 18 people entered the finals. They were divided into 6 groups by drawing lots. Starting at 6 o'clock in the evening, the TV station had not yet started live broadcast. Each of the 6 groups sang a song. Finally, one contestant from each group was eliminated, leaving 12. The second round starts at 8 p.m., and the TV broadcast starts at this time. They are divided into 3 groups by drawing lots, one group of 4 people. After one round, 2 people in each group are eliminated. After the remaining 6 people, each person sings a song. The 3 people eliminated will be the third prize. There are 3 people left. The last 3 people sang a song. The judges will choose one first prize, which is the first place, and 2 more, which are the second prizes. The remaining 12 contestants will all it's the winning prize. The 6 first, second, and third prize winners entered the province's Kahwa Cup Young Singer Grand Prix in May of the following year, which was also the preliminaries of the CCTV National Young Singer Grand Prix. If you have the opportunity to sing 4 songs this night, it means that you have at least entered the top 3. Shen Linlin participates in this competition every year. Her parents and colleagues from her work unit stay in front of the TV. Only when the winning awards are awarded at the end, they see her and the other 12 contestants on the stage to receive the awards and appear on TV. He frowned. She is eliminated before 8 o'clock every time and has never sung a song on TV. Why can you, Tan Shahen, sing 3 songs for the first time you participate? But on the night of the Mid-Autumn Festival, Tan Shahen sang 3 songs on the TV. Yongcheng County TV station announced a few days ago that today the county TV station will broadcast the finals of Hangcheng TV station's Sanjiang Cup Young Singer Grand Prix, replacing the originally planned Mid-Autumn Festival and National Day cultural and artistic event for the county's employees organized by the Federation of Trade Unions. The broadcast of the party has been cancelled. Because today, we have 2 contestants in Yongcheng County who have historically entered the finals. One is Shen Linlin, and the other is Tan Shahen. Not many people know Shen Linlin, but Tan Shahen, she was at the opening ceremony of the Yongcheng Summer Art Festival's performance is still fresh in everyone's memory, especially for those who go to the dance hall of the cultural center every day. Therefore, many Yongcheng people stayed in front of the TV that night. Although at 8 o'clock, when the picture from Hangcheng TV station came, everyone found that only one of the 2 historic people was left. But it doesn't matter, that person is Tan Shahen. The entire Wu opera troupe was in the open space above Jiaofang, staring at the TV set that teacher Li had moved from home. Su Jianmei and Ding Begu were sitting on the bed at Ding Begu's house, staring at the TV in front of them. Tan Shahen's parents were sitting on the sofa, and Feng Logui was sitting on another sofa. Mrs. Tan was still holding Tan Shahen's daughter in her arms. The little girl saw her mother appear on the TV again and again, calling her mother. She stretched out her hand to grab her mother but failed to catch her, and her mother ignored her. The little girl finally became anxious. When she saw Tan Shahen won the first prize and cried bitterly on the stage, she also burst into tears. At this time, the game on the illuminated stadium of Kuning Garment Factory had just ended. The angry old women were looking for accountant Li to give him a living. Zhang Chen and Liang Mao were persuading them. Lu Ligan and Su Wenhui were standing by the court. Su Wenhui had just started. His name is Senior Lu Ligan. In the sky over Hangzhou, the moon was full and the night was still dark. Next they have to eat lamb kidneys. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 706. Lu Ligan took Su Wenhui and conducted several days of interviews with Yiming Food Factory, mainly Fan Kishun, to learn how he came up with the idea of packaging old wine in new bottles and used novel packaging designs such as 10 Treasures of West Lake, Rats can't forget, and the business philosophy makes their products stand out in the highly competitive food industry. How could we think of developing low-sugar and sugar-free foods that are suitable for diabetics and hyperglycemia people that no one has thought of? This has become good news for them, and at the same time, it has filled this gap in the domestic food industry in one fell swoop. Su Wenhui concluded that Director Fan is really a reform pioneer who can liberate his thoughts and take bigger steps. Fan Kishun, a pioneer of reform, either smiled modestly and plainly when asked by reporters, or pondered profoundly while Lu Ligan sat aside, taking over his duties and introducing incessantly who he was as a senior. Su Wenhui didn't expect anyone to ask questions, so he took the initiative to introduce them. Soon, a weighty interview with a reform figure was formed. This exclusive interview was published on the second page of Hangcheng Daily and occupied half of the page. Then, Su Wenhui's senior brothers and sisters from Zaobao evening news and radio and television stations also came one after another. Fan Kishun's clothes in the media are getting more and more glamorous, his hair is getting darker and shinier, and his posture is becoming more and more natural. All of this soon made Fan Kishun famous in Hangzhou. The leaders of Hangcheng Food Company, as well as the many factory directors below them who were still struggling on the verge of life and death, felt strange when they saw this newspaper. Was it really Fan Kishun who wrote it and broadcast it on TV? But you don't have to believe the newspapers and TV, and you don't have to listen to the radio, but the Yiming Food Factory is now booming and has become the only seedling in the disaster-ridden and dying Hangzhou food system. This is for sure. Workers, the bonuses we get every month are not fake, right? Have you ever tasted the bonus? Will the workers below you have the bright smiles on the faces of the workers at Yiming Food Factory? Not to mention anything else, even the bonuses for the people in the food company's office were donated by Yiming Food Factory. Can any of you try to give them a dime or two? Many people in the system want to be transferred to Yiming Food Factory. Even several managers of the food company want to ask Fan Kishun for help to take care of their relatives and friends. Fan Kishun is really more prestigious than these managers now. He is registered with the Commerce Bureau and the city government. Nowadays, even the managers of food companies are not eligible to participate in many meetings. He calls one directly. Ming Food Factory called Fan Kishun directly to inform him of his participation. At 5:20 that afternoon, it was almost time to get off work. Fan Kishun walked into the conference room with his hands behind his back. He asked Fan Jiangguo to go out. Fan Jiangguo looked at him, then at Lu Ligan, stood up, and walked out. Close the door for me. Since Fan Kishun became a reform pioneer, he even spoke to his son with the dignity of a reform pioneer. When Fan Jiangguo saw him, he became a little submissive. Fan Jiangguo obeyed the order and closed the door, and pushed it with his backhand to confirm that the sibling lock was locked. Lu Ligan smiled and looked at Fan Kishun, wondering what this reform pioneer was mysteriously up to. Fan Kishun came over and unplugged the phone line on the table first so that no phone calls would disturb them. Then he sat down across the conference table. He looked at Lu Ligan and said, "Now there are only two of us in this room. You can tell me what you want from me. If you don't tell me, I won't be able to sleep well every day and at night." "What do you mean?" Lu Ligan asked. "As the old saying goes, if you don't make a profit, you won't start early. I don't believe that you work hard and painstakingly every day to help me and this factory without your own purpose. Director Fan. From now on, you call me Lao Fan, and I call you Xiao Lu. You are not from this factory, so there is no need to follow others." Lao Fan took out a cigarette and threw one over. The two of them lit it. Lao Fan took out a puff of cigarette and said, "If you come here again to do research and write articles and make suggestions to the leaders, then we will have a falling out. Don't do it, explain." Lu Ligan became serious. He knew that the person who came today was evil, so he said, "Yes, I won't say anything. I know you came just for me. You took my son first and then entered this factory. You didn't come for me. There is no need to do this. There are so many companies in Hangzhou that are about to close. You have to investigate and help the poor. You can go anywhere, it's not my turn, right? Lao Fan asked. Lu Ligan nodded and said, yes. Thank you for letting me get back the feeling of being a human being even though I am old. This feeling is so good now. I am laying this bottom here. Do you understand what I mean? Understand a little bit, but not completely. That is to say, now that the time has come, you can ask for anything you want. As long as I, old Fan, can do it, I will definitely help you do it. I, old Fan, are not a fool, nor a person who does not repay kindness. Then will be struck by lightning. Okay, I understand everything now, Lao Fan. Then tell me, Lao Fan said. My friend wants the land of Yiming Food Factory, Lu Ligan said. He said his friend, not himself, because he still had room for advancement and retreat, and would not kill him with one move. That Mr. Zhang? Lao Fan asked. Lu Ligan shook his head and said no. Lao Fan didn't ask who it was, but asked, why do you want it? Replacement, Lu Ligan said. Replacement? Yes, replacement. Actually, Lao Fan, you should know that with the current sales volume in the factory, the food workshop is no longer enough, not to mention that the market is still expanding every month. Yiming Food Factory needs bigger factories and workshops. Yes, you are right, I am also considering tidying up the old house in front. That's wasted effort. It's not like it was more than 10 years ago. This place is not a suitable place for a food factory at all, let alone that old house. I agree, you're right. Based on the reputation and sales of Yiming Food Factory, what it needs now is a larger, newer, and more modern factory, which is also good for the factory's corporate image. Lao Fan smiled and said, I want it too, but I don't have the money. Although the factory has made some money now, it's not enough to build a new factory. All I say is replacement. Tell me more details. You know Xiaosha, right? The development zone that is being built now, many Taiwanese companies have settled there. My friend's plan is that there are 33 acres of land here, and he will buy 35 acres of land there, and then according to your needs, we will help you build a factory of 4,000 square meters, and he will use that place in exchange for this place. Xiaosha. The workers will find it too far and too verbose. He can provide another passenger car, a factory car. Lao Fan was silent, and Lu Ligan continued, we also provide a moving fee of 300,000 yuan. Lao Fan said, we have to calculate whether it is a good deal or not. Lu Ligan added, also, after the old house in front is demolished and a new house is built, they will give you another 200 square meters of business room on the roadside of Tianmu Mountain to serve as the sales department of Yiming Food Factory, so, in fact, Yiming Food Factory still hasn't left here. Fan Kishun turned away and kept smoking. The fingers of his left hand kept pressing on the conference table. Lu Ligan knew that he was calculating in his heart, so he waited quietly. Are you done? Fan Kishun asked after a while. That's it, Lu Ligan said. Fan Kishun took a cigarette, threw it over, sighed, spit the cigarette butt in his mouth to the ground, took out a cigarette, lit it, and continued to smoke with his fingers. For the sales department on Tianmushan Road, how much do you charge per square meter? Fan Kishun said suddenly. 2005, Lu Ligan said. Fan Kishun nodded and continued to smoke. He was almost finished and spit it out. Instead of getting another cigarette, he turned around, looked at Lu Ligan and said, people of the Ming dynasty don't tell secret words. This condition can be met anywhere. This can be done. Lu Ligan secretly breathed a sigh of relief. As long as he could do it, he felt that the most difficult stage was over. But Xiao Lu, I also have a few requests, Fan Kishun said. Say it, Lao Fan. First, it's up to you to do this. I can't trust anyone who is a friend or not. I don't even want to see him. I only trust you. I will give you this place, and you will be responsible for giving me the new factory building in Xiaosha. Lu Ligan said, okay, then I will do it myself. I thought to myself, I damn wish I didn't even need to show off to a human-headed bodhisattva. What else, Lao Fan, tell me, Lu Ligan said. Furthermore, I don't know what you are going to do with this piece of land, and I don't want to know. I just ask that no matter what you do, you bring that little bastard from my house with you. I can also see that you are a person, smart, but not bad. You can't do things that deceive people and take advantage of others. I can rest assured that he can learn his skills from following you. Okay, I promise you, Lao Fan. The last thing, for the sales department, don't ask for 200 square meters. 100 square meters is enough. There is another 100 square meters that can be converted into cash. I will let Fan Jiangguo tell you how to get it. I understand, Lao Fan, there's no problem with this. That's it? Whatever you do, just do it boldly. We'll have no problem here, Fan Kishan said. You mean, Lao Fan, this matter can be settled? It's settled, you make an agreement and I just need to sign it. Of course, the agreement should be made more beautiful. Understood, but Lu Ligan still felt that this matter had happened too quickly. He asked, doesn't this matter need to be discussed with the secretary? Fan Kishan glanced at him and said, I am him and he is me. Lu Ligan understood and remembered the additional 100,000 yuan Zhang Chen paid when he bought their store. You don't have to say hello to the food company, Lu Ligan asked. We know how to fight this. Now, we don't know who cares about who. We want to ignore them and wipe out all their bonuses, Fan Kishan said domineeringly. I understand, Lu Ligan said, Lao Fan, I may do this in steps. In the first step, I will demolish the old houses in front and build a new factory. After the factory is built, we will build everything here again, move over. Just make sure that my production doesn't stop. I don't care about the rest, Fan Kishan said. Once the agreement is signed, you can make your own arrangements as to what to do. In the end, all you have to do is implement everything according to the agreement. Thank you for your monthly pass. Thank you for all the votes and reading. Have a good evening, everyone. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 707. The next thing Lu Ligan had to do was to register a real estate company, Zhejiang Jingxiudadi Real Estate Co., Limited, with a registered capital of 5 million, which Zhang Chen lent him. After the company registration was completed, the first thing he did was to sign a cooperation agreement with Yiming Food Factory, and write down everything he had agreed with Fan Kishan into the agreement. The company's registered address is on the third floor of the original office building of Kuning Garment Factory, which is upstairs in the dynamic zone. There are still 2 empty rooms there. Lu Ligan rented one of them as an office for a monthly rent of 280 bucks. He took the rental agreement and had to ask Zhang Chen to sign it. Zhang Chen scolded him, whatever agreement you sign, whatever rent you pay, just take it and use it. Lu Ligan said, no, what I do must be clearly distinguished from you, and I cannot drag you into the water. You listen to me. Lu Ligan himself has indeed thought clearly. He feels that he is in Heiken. Because he has the strong financial resources and background support of Sun Ho and his major shareholders, he has a high starting point. He does not need to ask for help or seek connections. On the contrary, there are many relationships don't mean that they go away, but that they automatically attach themselves to them and come to them. When he arrived in Hangzhou, he no longer had this condition. Here, he was the naked Lu Ligan. These 3 characters were neither mysterious nor had any aura. Heiken's experience also taught him that you can't cooperate with others to build a company, Especially you can't cooperate with people or companies that are stronger than you. That way, once there is a problem in the company's operation, you will be thrown out and sacrificed first, and you can also be sacrificed. Yes, that's you. Although now, if he opens his mouth, Zhang Chen will definitely cooperate with him. When he left Hunan, Zhang Shaoan also told him that when he returned to Hangzhou, if he saw anything to do, he would inform him. He will definitely come over and do it with Lu Lipol. But Lu Ligan will not cooperate with other companies, let alone with them. The reason for not cooperating with them is that they don't know what he does, and they have no interest in knowing it. Their cooperation is entirely based on their respect for him. The more this happened, the less Lu Ligan dared to cooperate with them. They were his friends, and he didn't want to turn his friends into business partners. Business partners can often be calculated and sacrificed. Lu Ligan does not want to be sacrificed by others, let alone sacrifice them. On the contrary, if it was Meng Ping, Lu Ligan felt that he would cooperate with him. The reason was very simple. They were doing the same thing. Meng Ping knew very well what he was going to do, and even knew better than him. The risks involved, and Lu Ligan didn't need to say anything about the interests. He would have considered them clearly. If they cooperated, it would be a strong alliance based on a common understanding of the project. The difference is huge. Without the support of background and financial resources, Lu Ligan felt that he had to work alone in Hangzhou. His current situation was just like when Meng Ping arrived in Haikan. He would have to deal with various relationships. And using various connections, he wanted to take the same route that Meng Ping took when he arrived in Haikan, or even the route that Huang Hongguang took. You must look for shortcuts to achieve success, but shortcuts are often not smooth roads, and are surrounded by cliffs and thorns. Lu Ligan said that Zhang Chen cannot be dragged into the water, which is really not an empty talk. The best way to avoid dragging Zhang Chen into the water is to draw a clear line from the beginning. You are you, I am me, you are half an acre of field, and I am splendid land. These two companies are incompatible with each other. And, there is no relationship at all between them. Just like when Huang Hongguang realized his risk, he wanted Huang Mali to register a company to protect himself, but he did it too late, or there was no way to cut it. How to cut the blood relationship? But he and Zhang Chen can cut each other off, they can watch and help each other, and they can also forget each other in the world. This piece of paper, not paper, is a guarantee and the most original evidence, proving that the splendid land and the half-acre field have been a lease relationship from the beginning, and there is no other relationship. Lu Ligan insisted on signing, but Zhang Chen had no choice but to sign with him. Lu Ligan went to the finance department and handed Zhao Jingjing half a year's rent and asked her to issue a receipt. Lu Ligan's company added nothing except a phone. The desk is still the original one from Kuning Garment Factory. On the side corner of the desk are the faded red words Kuning Garment Factory, made in March 1971. The chairs are also the original wooden chairs. Even that set of sofas are also the set of wooden sofas that used to be in the office of the director of Kuning Garment Factory. On the armrests of the sofa, the paint has peeled off and there are scars from cigarette butts. Zhang Chen looked at it, it was really shameful, and cursed, "Why the hell do you look like you are pretending to be poor on purpose? Are you trying to scare others away from dealing with you?" Lu Ligan laughed. "I am not pretending to be poor, I am really poor. The most important thing is that it is not necessary. I can guarantee that no one will come to our company now. When someone comes to our company, they will decorate or communicate with Chu Tianlin and others. In that case, it's not too late to just move to the hotel and leave it alone." Zhang Chen thought of Lu Ligan's coquettish look in Haikan when he first started his company. There was a huge difference. In the office, nothing was added, but two people were added, two girls. These two girls were found by Lu Ligan and Fan Jiangguo from the provincial art school. They were two female students who were studying. Their tasks were even if I accompany him to eat and go out for activities, most of his working time is in the evening and Sunday. It won't affect their study, so they believed it. The monthly salary is also 500 yuan, which allows them not only to support themselves, but also to stand out among their classmates. Lu Ligan specifically told Fan Jiangguo that I can touch these two girls, but you can't touch them. No matter how much you can't help it, just bear it. Why? Fan Jiangguo asked. I'm afraid you will commit incest, Lu Ligan said. Fan Jiangguo understood and cursed, damn it, don't lead my old man into trouble. Can a good person lead to evil? Look at Mr. Zhang, is there anyone who can seduce him? There is a reason why you are today, Lu Ligan said with a smile, and Fan Jiangguo was stunned. Lu Ligan patted him on the shoulder and said to him, it's hard for your old man to think about it. He even told me that day that he feels like a human being when he gets older. You are his son. You are his son. Know how to be humble, to make him not only like a human, but also like a man. You have to be considerate of him and be filial. Fan Jiangguo asked, are you so considerate of your old man? That's different. That's my biological father. Damn it, I'm also your own father. Lu Ligan laughed, look, you don't read newspapers at first glance. This is different. My old man is not a reform pioneer. Have you seen how Su Wenhui wrote about Lao Fan in the newspaper? The glory is back. If you don't understand, where does this glory come from? Fan Jiangguo was confused by Lu Ligan, but from then on he really had no idea of flirting with these two girls. Lu Ligan felt that his goal was achieved. Otherwise, to prevent thieves and thefts, he would also have to guard against Xiao Fan. That's too long-winded. When Zhang Chen saw the two girls, he shook his head and cursed, you never forget Wen Wen and Qian, right? It's true, I don't know what's going on with these two diehards now. If they were here, they would really be my right-hand assistants, Lu Ligan shouted. He Hungmei scolded, this gangster is a gangster, and there is no way he can change his habit of eating shit. Lu Ligan laughed, hooligans don't eat shit either. Do you understand? Gangsters like to eat girls' saliva. Have you ever met such a gangster? Instead, it made He Hungmei blush. He actually renamed the two girls Wen Wen and Qian. Wen Wen can sing you opera and Qian can dance. After Wen Wen Qian was also in place, Lu Ligan felt that he could start the second step of work. He took the parcel map of Yiming Food Factory and asked Zhang Chen to help him design the renderings and floor plan of a community, Jingxiu Home Community. This community has a total of 17 six-story buildings, each with 3 units and 1 staircase. 2 households, a total of 36 households. The 3 houses on the side of Tianmu Mountain Road are all connected together on the first floor. They have also expanded the inside by 3 meters to increase the depth of the first floor house. In this way, he has more than 2,100 square meters on Tianmu Mountain Road. Meters of storefront room. In addition, on the side facing Majing Road, there are also storefront rooms on the first floor. Although he still didn't know where the land was, Lu Ligan asked Zhang Chen to help him design a new factory area for Yiming Food Factory, covering an area of 35 acres and a building area of more than 4,100 square meters. This is also the delicate point of Lu Ligan. The contract he signed with Yiming Food Factory was for 4,000 square meters, but he would never build 3,900 square meters, but 4,010 square meters. The extra 100 square meters, just face. Lu Ligan asked Su Wenhui for help and helped him make an appointment with Zhang Mushan, the manager of Hangcheng Second Construction, for dinner. This was the reporter's benefit, and it was also the reason why Lu Ligan had to go downstairs when he saw Su Wenhui upstairs. In a city, there are no units or individuals that reporters do not deal with. In a newspaper office, reporters are contacted through separate lines. Even if he himself has no dealings with this industry, there must be colleagues who work on this line and are interested in this line. The up and down lines are as familiar as your own home. Hangcheng Second Construction was a local state-owned enterprise. The biggest headache for them at that time was that they had no business. This was also specifically requested by Lu Ligan, so Su Wenhui found the second construction instead of the first construction. At that time, the first construction was busy in charge of the reconstruction and extension project of Qingchun Road. Lu Ligan brought 2 renderings and went over with Wen Qianqian. Zhang Mushan's eyes turned green when he saw Wen and Qianqian. Although the 2 of them were new to the wine industry and were still very raw, being jerky has its own consequences. Touching place. The 5 of them drank to their heart's content. Zhang Mushan's eyes turned greener when he saw Lu Ligan's renderings again, and he kept shouting, "Brothers, brothers, you must do this business for me, and give me a long face, brother, there are hundreds of people idle there, staring at each other every day. It's hard for me too, brother." Lu Ligan said, "I can do it for you." These 2 projects of mine were originally subject to bidding. Each unit paid a deposit of 200,000, but you always ask me to go through the motions. What kind of formality can we use to avoid right and wrong? Zhang Mushan thought for a moment and said, "Then, if I pay a deposit of 600,000 yuan for a project, you will treat me as a bidder. If it doesn't work, I will find 2 more businesses. License for you." Lu Ligan smiled and said, "That's not necessary, but you have to give me the full advance." "Fully advance the capital, fully advance the capital. What are you afraid of? I have money. Even if I don't have enough money, the bank will have it. This bank is afraid of the East and the West, but it is not afraid of our state-owned enterprises. I have money and people, but I have no business. Give me this. That's it for me. I won't make it difficult for you," Lu Ligan said. "I won't give you any money. I'll give you some money for the project. This, again, is face. If you let go of this face, you will be able to talk a lot in the future." Okay, thank you, brother." Zhang Mushan leaned close to Lu Ligan's ear and pointed at him with a breath of alcohol. Don't enter into the agreement." Lu Ligan understood. When he broke up with Su Wenhui, Lu Ligan kicked Su Wenhui's broken bicycle and cursed, "Can I still ride this bike?" Su Wenhui smiled and said, "You can't ride here on my back." Lu Ligan took out 20,000 yuan from his bag, handed it to Su Wenhui, and told him to buy a good car. No, brother Lu, you're too outspoken," Su Wenhui shouted and refused to accept it. Lu Ligan threw the money into his car basket and said to him, "You just broke up with me. Isn't this just money? Money should be earned and spent by everyone. Thank you to Qing Empire 1 and Laughing and Running Y for the reward. Thank you Yu, Tianying 1978, Zhengguang Ion Exchange Resin Zhouping, Cheng Shanming, Bronze, 1890-798-3117 for your monthly votes. Thanks for all the reading and votes. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Shi Niang. Chapter 708. The next day, Zhang Mushan paid a total of 1.2 million yuan in deposits for the 2 projects of the Jingxiu Home Community and the Yiming Food Factory New Factory. Su Wenhui asked a reporter from his newspaper who was familiar with the Xiaosha Economic and Technological Development Zone to help introduce him. Lu Ligan borrowed a car from He Hongmei and took them to the Xiaosha Economic and Technological Development Zone. Xiaosha Economic and Technological Development Zone has just been approved as a National Economic Development Zone in March. At this time, it is increasing its efforts to attract investment. I heard that Yiming Food Factory is moving here. Of course, I am very happy. During this period, Yiming Food Factory is in Hangzhou. Read. They have just signed a contract with Hangcheng Tea Factory, the project of Zongqi Company, which produces Coca-Cola, and are also in talks with Master Kong's investment project. Now Yiming Food Factory is coming, and just in time, their food industry area is like this. The location of Xiaosha is not far from Jibao and is close to Haining. For enterprises in Hangzhou, as Fan Kishan said, it is relatively remote and suburban. In addition, the road to the development zone had not been renovated at that time. The entire development zone was dark at night and was not favored by others. It was very difficult to attract investment, and investment delegations were sent to Japan and Hong Kong. Most of those that have signed the agreement are Taiwan-funded companies, mostly chemical fiber and textile companies. Although Xiaosha has been awarded the title of a national development zone, it is not at the same level as the Suzhou Industrial Park, which was already a large-scale industry at that time. Of course, the Investment Promotion Office strongly welcomed companies like Luligan and others who came to their doorsteps. They quickly allocated a 35-acre land for Yiming Food Factory next to the future Zonghui Company. The price of land is 30,000 yuan per acre. After Fan Kishan signed the agreement with the Development Zone Management Committee, Luligan transferred 1.05 million from the 1.2 million transferred from Zhang Mushan to the account of Yiming Food Factory, and paid the land payment in one lump sum. Luligan also gave Fan Kishan the rendering of the new Yiming Food Factory painted by Zhang Chen. This caused another sensation in the food system and the factory in Hangzhou. Everyone felt that it was still Fan Kishan who in just a short time, people are going to build new factories. Although people in the factory heard that the new factory was in Xiaosha, they thought it was a bit far away, but they knew that there would be factory cars in the future, so it didn't matter. What units had factory cars in the past? Only large enterprises like Hangzhou Iron and Steel and Hangzhou Glass now even have factory trucks at our Yiming Food Factory. This is something that the workers are proud of. Luligan asked Zhang Mushan's construction team to immediately stationed at Yiming Food Factory and start demolishing the old house. He was eager to start construction here immediately, or at least give the impression that construction had already started. He urgently needed additional money. After all, Zhang Mushan's deposit needs to be repaid, and he has other expenses. Luligan asked Zhang Chen to help him design an advertisement for off-the-plan properties with the slogan "Splendid Home, Start a Beautiful New Life." The off-the-plan properties were sold for 3 days in a row. On the first day, each off-the-plan property was 5,000, on the second day it was 5,500, and on the third day it was 6,000. The off-plan property is anonymous and can be transferred. The selling price of a house in Jingxiu homeland is 980 yuan per square meter. Luligan took the advertisement and related information to Su Wenhui's newspaper office. Su Wenhui took Luligan to the advertising department of their newspaper. The director of the advertising department was shocked when he heard that Luligan was going to run a full-page advertisement on the front page. It has been 38 years since it was first published 5 years ago. In the first 20 years or so, there was not a single advertisement. In the past 10 years, although there have been more and more advertisements, there has never been a full-page advertisement on the front page. More than half of the front pages of daily newspapers are reserved for completing political tasks. Although Xinhua News Agency has fewer and fewer press releases in recent years, it is also advocated by the higher authorities that the news media should pay more attention to major national economy and people's livelihood and reduce the number of non-important activities of leaders. In terms of reporting, newspapers have a lot more autonomy, but that doesn't mean you can publish whatever you want. The director of the advertising department felt that the matter was serious, so he asked Luligan and Su Wenhui to wait in his office. He took the advertising samples and related information and ran upstairs to ask the president for instructions. As soon as the president heard about this, he immediately called the editor-in-chief to discuss it. He also asked people in the office to check whether there were any laws and regulations related to news and publishing that prohibited such full-page advertising on the front page. After checking, People from the office came in and said that Article 31 of the Newspaper Publishing Management Regulations only stipulates that most of the 10 stipulated version records must be marked on the front page of each issue at a fixed location. It does not clearly say that they are not allowed to be published on the front page of each issue. A full-page advertisement on the front page. That is to say, we only need to keep these version records while advertising, right? The president asked. That's understandable, the other party said. Their newspaper publishes a lot of advertisements every day, but this was the first time they saw the advertisement for selling a house. Both the president and the editor-in-chief thought it was very fresh. The advertisements were fresh and the form of publication was fresh. The editor-in-chief was a little bit. I couldn't contain my excitement, thinking that if this came out, it would be a cannon that would soar into the sky. They carefully reviewed the content of the advertisement. They were not very clear about what this off-the-plan property was. They asked the director of the advertising department. The director of the advertising department said that it was just a reservation to qualify for buying a house. It was no big deal. I had already checked the relevant laws. The regulations do not mention the matter of off-the-plan properties at all, let alone prohibit the sale and purchase of them. This, to put it bluntly, is the deposit required when signing a commercial contract. Off-the-plan property is just a fashionable term. The director of the advertising department added that the president and editor-in-chief understood. They continued to review other parts of the advertisement, and it seemed that there was nothing sensitive about it. The director of the advertising department also reminded them that this has already been done by some people across the country. On January 25 this year, the third day of the Lunar New Year, Shanghai's Wen Huipo had set a precedent and published the first article in the country. Full-page front-page ad. Of course the president and editor-in-chief remember this incident. Although it caused an uproar at the time, until now, the relevant competent authorities have not come out to say whether this can or cannot be done. This was only at the beginning of the year. After the speech during the Southern tour, the entire atmosphere in the country was already very different from that at the beginning of the year. The editor-in-chief proposed that we are now encouraged to emancipate our minds and be bolder. We also propose to focus on economic construction. I feel that by doing this, we are serving economic construction and a concrete manifestation of emancipating our minds. The president was also excited by the talk. He looked at the editor-in-chief and said, "How about we do it? Do it, it's not a shameful thing." After the editor-in-chief said it, he hesitated for a moment. Should he ask for instructions from his superiors? Do you think that after asking for permission, does anyone above dare to take on this responsibility? The president asked meaningfully with a smile, and the editor-in-chief also laughed. The president said, "Just do it, or you'll get a spanking afterwards." The editor-in-chief said, "Yes, if that really happens, you and I will suffer together. At worst, we will each get 50 hits." The director of the advertising department laughed on the side. "I wanted to suffer too, but unfortunately I was not qualified. But I am sure that other newspapers in the province will suffer this time." After finalizing the matter, the editor-in-chief still couldn't restrain his curiosity. He looked at the design draft and asked, "How many square meters is this house?" "They're all the same, like 65 square meters," said the director of the advertising department. "That's a few square meters larger than my house." The editor-in-chief nodded, "But if you calculate it this way, a house costs more than 60,000. What, boss, you want to buy it?" "If you want to buy it, I'll talk to the boss and ask him for a discount," the director said. "Screw you, I can't afford it. With my salary, how many years will it take me to save without food or expenses?" The editor-in-chief said, "I'm just curious. It's so expensive. Will anyone buy it?" "Don't worry about the ancients. It's not us who sell the houses. As long as the boss can pay the advertising fees," the president said. The editor-in-chief nodded, and he said to the director, It seems that this boss is still capable. In the past 2 days of advertising, he has lost more than one house. You have to catch such a big fish. I caught him hard. Otherwise, I would have come up in such a hurry. Well, his boss is still waiting for news from me in my office, the director said. Go quickly, the president waved. Before leaving the house, the director of the advertising department asked the president and editor-in-chief, why do I feel like I have just attended a meeting of an underground organization? The president and editor-in-chief both laughed. The director of the advertising department hurriedly ran downstairs and told Lou Ligon, I got it. Really? That's great, thank you, director, Lou Ligon said quickly. The director and Lou Ligon said, I heard that you have also worked in newspapers, and you know the secrets of this newspaper. I won't say much else to you. You understand that next Friday and Saturday, as long as if there is no important press release from Xinhua News Agency, there will be 2 full front pages. If there is a press release, then no one can do anything but postpone it. Lou Ligon said yes, no problem. The director of the advertising department stretched out his hand and pressed down, telling Su Wenhui that this matter is still the same now, so don't talk nonsense when you leave the house. Su Wenhui made it clear that the director was planning a shock bomb. He knew that the director was worried that the news would leak out and be known to other newspapers. If they published it first, the sensational effect of the full-page advertisement on the front page would be lost. The director smiled and said, it's not me who wants to do it, but the 2 bosses above. The director is so excited. Why do I think it's the director who wants to do it? Su Wenhui said. The director couldn't help but laugh, whoever does it is doing it, just don't let me know about it. Su Wenhui took Lou Ligon to the finance department to pay the advertising fee. 38,000 a day, which is 76,000 in 2 days. The finance department was surprised. What kind of advertising costs so much in 2 days? Don't worry about it, you just collect the money anyway, Su Wenhui said. The finance officer looked at Su Wenhui, then picked up the phone on the table and called the director of the advertising department. The director told her that's right, you can charge this amount. The finance department then collected the money. Lou Ligon left the newspaper office, said goodbye to Su Wenhui, and rode on the road alone. He felt relaxed for a while. This relaxation was not about being relaxed in his heart, but because he had no money and was lightweight. After paying the advertising fee, he was truly broke. Not only had he used up the 100,000 yuan given by Zhang Chen, he had also used up the remaining 50,000 yuan from Zhang Mushin's deposit. The off-the-plan properties went on sale on Sunday. If no one showed interest, he wouldn't even be able to pay Fan Jiangguo and Wen Wenkinkin's salaries next month. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Xiniang. Chapter 709. Lou Ligon returned to Stadium Road and told Zhang Chen the news. Zhang Chen was very happy. He said, then I will buy the first off-plan property to support you. Why are you buying off-the-plan property? Lou Ligon asked. Buy a house. We actually looked for a house this year but couldn't find it. Your house is not far from us. It's a 10-minute ride and only 3 or 4 bus stops away, right? In this way, we don't even have to go to school. Yes, Zhang Chen said. He then told Lou Ligon about the last time they were looking for a house. Lou Ligon listened with mixed feelings. He was happy that Zhang Chen and the others could not find a house when they wanted to buy a house, which meant that houses in this area were scarce. But he was worried. Which also shows that the sales and purchases of houses in this area are close to zero. It is a pool of stagnant water. It is much more difficult to stir up a pool of stagnant water than living water. What Lu Ligan is most worried about is that the best time has not yet come, and when no one even has the will to buy a house, then no one will come to buy an off-the-plan property. This matter will eventually become his own choice. One end is hot. Lu Ligan shook his head. He said, no, you don't need to buy it. I will leave 2 sets for you on the top floor when the time comes. When I build it, I can open it up. Why do I need 2 sets? Zhang Chen asked curiously. One is for people to live in, and the other is used as a studio, Lu Ligan said. Zhang Chen thought about it and realized that this was not bad. He said, then there will be 3 sets, and another set on the first floor. What do you want on the first floor? My parents, they have always said they want to take Zhang Xiangbei, so let them come to Hangzhou to take him. Lu Ligan nodded, okay, then I will leave 3 sets for you. The set for your old man and his friends can be placed in the unit next door. Otherwise, if you go home late, your mother will be sitting at the door waiting for you. Every morning, she will sit at the door and watch you go to work. Zhang Chen laughed. It was true, he said. No, then put it in the building next door. Lu Ligan said yes. Also, follow the same process. Buy when it's time to buy off the plan property, and pay when it's time to pay for the house, Zhang Chen said. What do you want to do? Lu Ligan glared at him. Didn't you say you wanted to figure it out? Why are you looking down on us? We can't afford your house. Lu Ligan thought about it for a moment and decided that it was fine. The two of them had dinner in the cafeteria. Zhang Chen went to Xiao Zhao's place on Yan'an Road. Lu Ligan rode back to Sanbeo first. When he entered the factory gate, he saw a person standing at the door of the office. He kept looking at him and smiling. It turned out that Wei Venfang had returned from Shanghai. When Lu Ligan returned to Hangzhou, Wei Venfang had already gone to Shanghai. Lu Ligan went to Shanghai twice. The first time he and Zhang Chen were in the first department store, Wei Venfang was in 900, and the second time Lu Ligan led following the supply and marketing section chief of Yiming Food Factory, he went to the number 1 department store and Wei Venfang's warehouse in Shanghai. The two never met. Now that everything was arranged in Shanghai, Wei Venfang returned to Hangzhou. This was their first meeting since Lu Ligan was taken away by the police that night in Haikan. Lu Li pushed the pole hard twice until the car rushed in front of Wei Venfang before slamming the brakes. Due to the inertia, he almost fell off the car. Fortunately, Wei Venfang held him. Lu Ligan got out of the car, and the two stood face to face. Wei Venfang's tears rolled down her face. Lu Ligan smiled and said, "Why are you crying? Don't let Wu Zaiwai get jealous when he sees it." You're not serious." Wei Venfang laughed and cursed. Come on in, I have something good to tell you," Lu Ligan shouted. The two people walked into the office. Zhao Zhigang was sitting inside. He saw Wei Venfang's eyes were red and asked, "What's wrong? He bullied you just after you came back." "That's right, go and ask Wu Zaiwai to fight with me," Lu Ligan said with a smile. "No, I saw that this person is still alive and his mouth is still so mean." Wei Venfang also smiled. Zhao Zhigang understood, he stood up and walked out. After sitting down, Lu Ligan told Wei Venfang what he was doing now. "You've already finished a project so quickly," Wei Venfang shouted. "How fast is it? It's been more than a month since I came back." "It's because you haven't been here, otherwise you wouldn't feel it's fast." "I still think he's too slow," Lu Ligan said. "By the way, next Friday, every week 6th, there is a full-page advertisement on the front page of Hangcheng Daily. Off-the-plan properties are for sale on Sundays. You are indispensable for this. Will you help me sell them?" Wei Venfang nodded. Lu Ligan remembered it and said, "What about it? Either I talk to Zhang Chen or you go to my place and help me." Wei Venfang smiled and said, "Didn't you already recruit 2 little girls? As soon as I came back, someone told me." Why is there someone? It must be Wuzeawi's foul mouth. Don't listen to his nonsense. Those two are vases. They are taken out for use. They don't understand anything. That means I only deserve a life of hard work, right? Wei Venfang said with a smile. No, you are qualified to be a vase. It's just that you have greater abilities than a vase. It's a pity to be a vase. Here you go again, not serious. Wei Venfang pointed at Lu Ligan and said. Oh, you are just too serious to be funny, Lu Ligan scolded. You, I don't want to play with you. Okay, but please think about what I said. After you think about it, I told Zhang Chen tonight that all the off-plan properties at my place are on sale, but I haven't completed any procedures yet. I have to go through them all. There will be a lot of things to do next. I really need a veteran like you, Lu Ligan said. Wei Venfang thought for a moment and shook her head. She said she didn't want it anymore. I have already told Mr. Zhang that I have to leave here. If I leave here and go to your place, it will not be good. You told Zhang Chen that you weren't going to work here anymore? Why? Lu Li asked curiously, didn't you do a good job? Why did you leave? I'm not willing to give in. I also want to start my own business, is that okay? Wei Venfang raised her head, looked at Lu Ligan and asked. Lu Ligan was stunned for a moment, then nodded. He said yes. What are you going to do? Express delivery, Wei Venfang said. Express delivery, how to do it? I have visited Sijiking many times and found that the cargo consignment business there is very good. There is such a large logistics volume every day. That territory was all created by fighting. Are you going to let Wuzeawi fight and kill for the territory? Yes, the consignment is indeed made. I have seen them fight twice. I don't do that. Then what do you do? Those who do consignment, they are doing packaging for customers like He Hungmei, and they pack it into a whole truck and send it out every day. There are several companies in Sijiking doing this, and they basically cover all the cities in the country. If you want to get in, there is no other way except fighting with them to grab the territory, Wei Venfang said. If we want to fight, we can't beat others, Wei Venfang added. You know this, so you still do it, Lu Ligan scolded. Do you want to be a widow, or are you going to get the old one and get a new one? It's your turn, Wei Venfang cursed angrily. Don't dare. I can defeat other people, but I can't defeat you, Wei Venfang. Lu Ligan waved his hands quickly, and after saying that, both of them laughed. Can you still chat? Wei Venfang asked. Okay, keep talking and I'll shut up. I found that there is a piece of business that is very inconspicuous and trivial, and they don't like it. But in fact, the business volume is huge. If you really do it, you will definitely make money. Which piece? It's those short distance, scattered customers, like when we deliver goods to the specialty stores below. We send a small package every 2 or 3 days. Those who do consignment look down upon these small packages, and they don't have trucks to go to these places. These goods must be brought by bus drivers in each parking lot of Sijiking. Every stall has customers who deliver goods like this. Almost every stall has such a demand, which is very troublesome for them. When business is busy in the morning, who has time and people to go to the parking lot to deliver goods? When it is empty in the afternoon, the cars in the parking lot are gone again. In this way, they actually get a lot of business from phone calls every day, and they push it directly, and this is just running to a nearby parking lot. Some customers, especially those in the province, such as Yongcheng and Sijiking, don't have cars. If they want goods, they have to come here themselves, or someone here will deliver the goods to the East Station, North Station, and South Station passenger terminal. Which stall has this time to deliver, but in this way, we will do less business every day. I understand, you just want to do this. Go to each stall every day, collect these goods, and then distribute them uniformly. For you, 1 trip to North Station for 1 item and 1 trip for 10 or 20 items. It's the same. If you can collect the goods from many stalls, it will be very cost effective, right? Luligan asked. Yes, I want to rent a house near Sijiking. Each of their stalls can also put things at our place when they come in the morning or when they leave at night, and they don't have to take care of it. We will be responsible for distributing and taking care of them. Notify their customers where to pick up their shipments. Of course, they can also call at any time and ask us to pick up the goods from the stalls. After we gather them together, we will deliver them to each place. Yes, this business will get bigger and bigger. The most difficult thing is that at the beginning, you have to contact customers and the bus drivers of each bus. But after you start doing it, they all become regular customers. It will become very simple, Luligan said. Yes, I think so too. Look, Mr. Lu, can this be done? Wei Venfang asked. You can do it, I support you. Thanks. However, if this is the case, then Wu Zayawai can't run there alone. Each station is so far apart, and there are no cars. How many trips can he make in a day by taking buses and riding bicycles? We will hire people. Oh, then you are the boss's wife, Lu Ligan shouted, and Wei Venfang laughed shyly. I've already thought about it, Wei Venfang said. I'm going to find a few disabled people. Why? Let the disabled deliver goods to you. Of course not, that's it. Don't we have so much money that we can't afford a car? On the streets of Hangzhou, other three-wheeled motorcycles that deliver goods cannot be driven. Only the motorcycles for disabled people can be driven, so I will go find them a few disabled people, buy it in their name and sell it to me for a little more money, so it's more efficient than a bicycle. Okay, my little head turns very fast, Lu Ligan shouted. The two people were talking. Wu Zayawai drove his car and stopped at the door. Zhang Chen and Xiao Zhao walked in. Lu Ligan shouted, come on, come and give them some advice. I just heard a perfect money-making plan. Zhang Chen and Xiao Zhao asked curiously, what's the plan? Lu Ligan pointed at Wei Venfang and said to them, this person, I originally wanted to recruit her to join me, but she said she was unwilling and wanted to start a business. Do you all know this? Zhang Chen and Xiao Zhao nodded, and Lu Ligan said, she just told me her plan. You guys should also listen. Zhang Chen and Xiao Zhao sat down, and Wei Venfang told them the entire plan they had just discussed with Lu Ligan. Zhang Chen and Xiao Zhao had done it in the market themselves, so they knew whether it was good for the stalls or the people below. Customers do have this demand. If they can spend an extra 5 or 10 yuan, they can just wait for the bus to arrive at their own place. Who wants to travel to Hangzhou every 3 days? If this is really done, the market is really not small. Zhang Chen and Wei Venfang said, when you open this store, we will hand over our business to you, and we will leave all the delivery work to our own stores to you. Really, Mr. Zhang? Wei Venfang shouted. She knew the goods that Ban Mutian shipped every day. If so, their monthly expenses would be covered. For other businesses, making one more order would be a net gain. Earned. Of course, after you leave, Lao Wan is alone and doesn't have that much energy. If he continues to run around the city like he is now, there will be no time to manage this construction site. I think from now on, Lao Wan will be responsible for sending the general agent for consigned goods and other goods. Wu Zayawai can come here every day to pick them up and send them away. Zhang Chen looked at Xiao Zhao and continued, in this case, I am considering that we will gather all the goods and send all the goods from the distribution center on the second floor of Yan'an Road. We can consider opening it to the outside world. Open for business. There are several good brands now, and they all come to me and want to join our half-acre field. I'm thinking about whether we can continue to sell our own products on the first floor, and sell these franchised brands on the second floor. Otherwise, then, it's a shame that a good store is being used as a warehouse. Xiao Zhao listened and nodded. She also felt that there were almost no people on the second floor of Yan'an Road in the afternoon. After the franchise stores below started to do well, they went to Hangzhou less and less often. It's really a pity that the second floor is empty as it is now because we rely on them to deliver goods. Thank you for your monthly pass to Bustling Farce. Thank you for all the votes and reading. Good evening, everybody. The Pentium Era, South to North. Author, Mei Xiniang. Chapter 710. Lu Ligan Company, even with Wen Wen and Qian joining in, only had 4 people, which was definitely not enough. Zhang Chen asked Zhao Jingjing and people from the design center to help that day, and also transferred some people from Sanbeo. Zhao Jingjing together with Zheng Huiyang and Sanbeo's finances, 3 people are responsible for collecting payments, and the others serve as sales staff. Wei Wenfang spends 2 hours every night training all personnel so that they can master some basic knowledge of real estate and the basic ABCs of this project. These people who participated in the training had never even heard of real estate before, let alone been exposed to it. Without prior training, it would be good to be full of jokes. If you talk nonsense, you will not be caught by people who come to buy off-the-plan properties. Just let it go and say it was your staff who said it or agreed to it. That would be terrible. Wen Wenqian and Fan Jiangguo also participated in the training. The others were helpful. They were from the company, so they listened more carefully than others. Everyone also took a notebook and memorized it carefully. On Sunday, the factory on Stadium Road was closed, and only half of the people would eat in the factory cafeteria. Zhang Chen suggested that half of the cafeteria should be partitioned off with a baffle. For the other half, Zhang Chen asked Lao Wan and others to, after a little arrangement, I also helped draw a larger rendering and put it up so that it looked like a place selling off-the-plan properties. On the second and third days, if the sales were to continue, Zhang Chen had made arrangements and asked the workers to make do with it and divide them into 2 groups for meals. In this way, half of the restaurant would still be enough. Everything is mainly about selling off-the-plan properties, and others should be polite. Otherwise, Lu Ligan's office on the 3rd floor is so shabby. People just want to buy off-the-plan properties with money. Seeing this, they will turn around and run away. You are a scam company. He Hongmei will come with Xiao Zhao that day. Xiao Zhao really wants to buy 3 off-the-plan properties, but He Hongmei, Kaidi, and Zhao Zhigang are still prepared to act as trustees, so that if there are only a few people, they must sell. They were just booing and pretending to make the scene more beautiful, so as not to scare those people away because it was too deserted. Lu Ligan looked at Zhang Chen and Wei Wenfang and they were busy doing this and that with great interest, but his heart felt empty as never before. The scene in Haikan when their Jinghai International Financial Center pre-construction properties were on sale would always flash in his mind. In the empty hall, only 3 people, Yilan Ma and Wen Wenqian, walked in. I hope this scene will not happen again on Sunday. Don't ever end up selling only 3 of Xiao Zhao's products all day long. 3 more. Lu Ligan launched 10 of the 17 buildings this time, with a total of 342 off-the-plan properties. The first floors of 4 buildings are shops near Tianmushan Road, which are not for sale to the public this time. The first time there were 342. Wei Wenfang asked if it was too many. Lu Ligan himself felt that it was too much. Originally, the ideal idea would be to launch 4 to 5 off-the-plan buildings in the first phase to test the water temperature. The price of most of the subsequent houses could also be determined based on the first sales. Adjustment: if you sell most of it at one time, there will not be much room for adjustment later. But Lu Ligan calculated that based on 5,000 per unfinished property, if that were the case, the money collected would not be enough to return Zhang Mushan's deposit. This deposit is the deposit for project bidding. You can't say that the project has already started and your deposit has not been returned to others. In this way, Zhang Mushan will not be able to make a difference in the unit. After all, he is not the only one in the unit leadership team. According to Lou Ligon's setting, 1 month after the sale of the off-the-plan property, the project must have entered the foundation laying stage. At this time, those who bought the off-the-plan property will have to pay 30% of the down payment. The houses in this project cannot be mortgaged. It's not that Lou Ligon can't find a bank to do it, it's just that he can't do it. Because this house was built with full capital from the municipal second construction, legally speaking, the ownership of the project under construction still belongs to the municipal second construction. If you want a bank to provide a mortgage, the municipal second construction must agree to give up its rights. This is Zhang Mushin. Even if he wanted to help, he didn't have the courage. Originally, even the advance payment for the house should have been collected by the city's second construction company on a pro rata basis. The reason is that what you are selling is theirs, and of course they must obtain guarantees based on the current status of the project. On this point, Zhang Mushin opened his eyes. Close one eye and pretend that they don't know that they have received advance payment for the house. But just because he couldn't get a mortgage, Lou Ligon felt a little uneasy. He couldn't see or touch the entire real estate market in Hangzhou. He didn't know how many potential home buyers could afford to pay the full price without a mortgage. Payment. A house costs 63,700 yuan. This is not a small amount of money. You must know that the previous year, that is, 1992, the average annual salary of employees nationwide was only 2,711 yuan. This 2,711 yuan included factory wages. The physical items such as soap and gauze gloves were all discounted, but the actual cash received was far less than this amount. Lou Ligon really didn't know how many of the more than 5 million people in Hangzhou were able to come up with this money. Among the hundreds of people he had contacted in Zhang Chen's company, Zhang Chen was probably the only one. He didn't even know if Fan Qishun could come up with the money for the more than 100 people at Yiming Food Factory. Calculated in this way, this ratio is already low enough, and in terms of wages, the wages of half-acre farm workers are already high in Hangzhou. Early on Friday morning, Lou Ligon ran to the newsstand. He saw many people gathered in front of the newsstand from a distance, all holding the day's Hangcheng Daily in their hands. Lou Ligon breathed a sigh of relief. Nothing major happened outside. Xinhua News Agency did not issue a press release, and my advertisement appeared on the front page of Hangcheng Daily as scheduled, a full page. Many people holding this newspaper felt that today's Hangcheng Daily was weird. The front page was actually a full advertisement. They were also very curious about the advertisement itself. There were actually people selling houses and off-the-plan properties. At that time, only old newspaper fans in Hangzhou would occasionally see the size of dried tofu in Shanghai's Xinmin Evening News. The real estate advertisements for selling houses at that time were not as grand as those for selling refrigerators and color TVs on Sushu. People only posted a quarter of the page once they were posted. The people selling houses in Hangzhou today are really impressive. Lou Ligon stood there and listened to their discussion for a while, and found that they were obviously not interested in quietness in the noise, aristocratic enjoyment, poetic living, etc. What they were most interested in was Zhang Chen's request. The added Coal Guard exclusive use. Lou Ligon still laughed at Zhang Chen at that time. He said, "There are still people who don't know that such a house will definitely have a separate bathroom and kitchen?" Zhang Chen retorted, "Do you know how many people in Hangzhou live in worse conditions than we do in the troupe? How many people have never even entered a building like this? Having a separate bathroom and kitchen is their dream, what they consider aristocratic enjoyment, and squatting in the bathroom without being disturbed is a poetic way of living." When Zhang Chen said this, he thought of Liang Fen's home, a Yang's home, and other factory workers' homes that he had visited. Listening to these people talking in front of the newsstand, Lou Ligon now had to admit that Zhang Chen knew the city more thoroughly than he did. He was more or less romantic and imaginative, and could only think of it. It's those ethereal words. Others are discussing whether the sentence 10 minutes walk from Woolen Square in their advertisement is accurate. Some people say that 8 minutes is enough from McKen Road. Some people say that it takes at least 12 or 13 minutes, so Lou Leopold was relieved that they at least agreed that Majan Road was very convenient and right in the city center. When Lou Ligon arrived at the office, Fan Jiangguo was already there. When he saw him coming in, he said excitedly that someone had already called to ask about the house. As he was talking, the phone on the table rang again. He picked it up and asked about the house. Yes. Lou Ligon watched from the side, and then he felt a little more at ease. At least, it showed that Hangzhou was not a backwater, and there were still many people who cared about the house. Lou Ligon stood up, went downstairs, crossed the basketball court, went to the house opposite, went upstairs and walked to the stairs on the third floor. He happened to meet He Hongmei coming out of the design center. He Hongmei saw Lou Ligon and started talking to him. Say, I helped you sell a house. Really, which rich man do you know? Lou Ligon asked. As for the pair of classmates who make hats, they won't leave Hangzhou anyway. They have made some money in the past few months, enough to buy a house. I advised them to buy a house and settle down. They will come the day after tomorrow, He Hongmei explained. Okay, thank you. As Lou Ligon spoke, he seemed to hear a ding sound somewhere, and a copper abacus bead fell down. Now it was not Xiao Zhao's 3 sets, but 4 sets. Finally, he could get out of the 3 the curse. Lou Ligon and He Hongmei walked into Zhang Chen's office together. Lou Ligon saw a copy of Hang Cheng Daily on Zhang Chen's desk. Lou Ligon cursed, "You are moving so fast. I will bring it to you, have one." Zhang Chen laughed, "I also brought one for you." As he spoke, he took out another Hang Cheng Daily from the drawer. Lou Ligon was stunned for a moment, and then he laughed. He didn't know why, but he suddenly remembered that when they arrived in Haikan, the two of them found jobs on the same day. On that day, they coincidentally bought half a Wenchang chicken and took it home. Oops, why didn't I take a closer look at that time to see if these 2.5 animals together were the same one? Lou Ligon only thought about it now. This advertisement is good and has received great response, He Hongmei said. Lou Ligon asked curiously, "How do you know? If not, you would also buy it, right?" No, He Hongmei shook her head. On my way here, several stations were talking about this on the radio in the car. Lou Ligon understood. Hey, isn't this exactly the effect he wanted? It seems that he has achieved it at this point. The phone on Zhang Chen's desk rang, and Zhang Chen answered it. The call was from Fan Jiangguo. He asked, "Mr. Zhang, is Mr. Lu at your place?" Zhang Chen said yes. "Do you want him to answer the phone?" Fan Jiangguo said yes. Zhang Chen gestured towards Lou Ligon with the microphone. Lou Ligon walked over and took the microphone from Zhang Chen. After listening for a while, his expression changed and he said, "Okay, I will come right away." Putting down the phone, Zhang Chen asked, "What's wrong?" "I'm going over there. Xiao Fan just told me that someone from the Housing Management Committee is here," Lou Ligon said. Zhang Chen's heart skipped a beat. It was probably not a good thing that the relevant departments came to visit him at this time. It seemed like the advertisement was the cause. "I'll go with you," Zhang Chen said. No, I'll go see what's going on first," Lou Ligon said and hurried out. Thank you for the rewards from Baby Tin Soldier, third from top to bottom, flipping through books every day, On the Shore 131, and A Wolf. Thank you to TNC Sheniu, Yuju, Tianying 1978, and Lulu 6717P11 for your monthly votes. Thanks for all the reading and votes. Happy Saturday everyone.